Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful Overbooked. It's the end of the year, the end of 2022. So last year, Jeremy had the bright idea of talking about the end of the year, talking about the year itself, and looking forward to the next. So we decided, let's do it again. Let's make it an annual thing. So we're here with contributors to Fightful Overbooked. We're going to celebrate the first year of this channel as it is now known. And we're going to donate all the super chats to our contributors. Not me, not Jeremy, not Caden, but to the contributors sites.
Yeah, Caden's not really a contributor. I'm not sure why he's here.
He's like, I wanted to be on the video, and I was just like, all right, whatever, man. It's your funeral. How are we doing? Jeremy, how are you? Caden, how are you? Let's start. I'll start with Caden. Caden, I actually do like you. I just like to. When I started with Fightful, everyone liked to pick fun of me or make fun of me, pick on me, whatever. So I'm passing on the love to you.
And just when you started, definitely don't do that. Like still to this day,
it's definitely a thing.
I'm doing great. I woke up 2 hours ago. I got coffee and donuts. I feel rested. I feel fed, and I got coffee still to drink.
Wonderful.
2 hours ago. That must be nice, right, Joel Pearl? You know all about the great sleeping until noon with a baby.
Seriously, I've been up since 8 o'clock. Actually, he slept in today. He slept till 8:30, nice. Which was like unreal. He got up at 5 o'clock for a quick feed, and then he stayed down until 8:30. That was wild. Did not expect it. But
I slept till 8, and I was telling Kaden, and I was like, it's so nice. Like 8 o'clock's like sleeping in. Usually, I'm up till 6. Every morning. So like if we can sleep until 8, it's fantastic to be. Yeah, I know, Ryan. It is very sad that I'm here with Joel and Caden. It's the worst, absolute worst. Oh, Happy New Year's, Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you.
Happy
Thanks
New
for joining
Year.
us. Thanks for joining us. All right. I'll throw some stuff out there. So last year we did this stream.
Fucks over here.
What? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, you're eating a muffin? Nice. Very nice. I appreciate that reference. Yeah, last year we did this stream, and it's open to anybody. If anybody in the chat, anybody listening, watching, whatever it might be, if you want to come on, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I'm not going to give out my Twitter. I don't want you to follow me. But if you have my Twitter, then you know where to DM me at. So DM me, I'll shoot you the link. Hey, we're going to have just people popping on, popping off. If you come on and it's only like 5-10 minutes, please don't be offended or anything. Like, we're not trying to have everybody stay the entire time. I'm going to kick Caden off here within 5-10 minutes as well. It's mainly just going to be Joel and I as the two people on for the majority of this show. So yeah, if you want on, shoot me a DM and I'll have you on. And we're talking generalities of 2022. This doesn't have to be wrestling related. If something cool happened in your life in 2022, talk about it. If something bad happened and you want to share, go ahead and share that too. If you want to talk wrestling, if you want to talk sports, if you want to talk pop culture, whatever, feel free to come on, hang out, talk with us, spend the last day of 22, the afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're at in the world. Maybe it's the first day of 2023 for you. If you're in the future, come hang out.
Some of our Australian contributors.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already celebrating.
Caden, I'll ask you, how was your 2022, buddy?
My 2022 was a roller coaster with a lot of shit going on, but I overall, the second half was phenomenal. I got to go to Chicago for All Out. I went to New York for Grand Slam, Newark for Full Gear. So I got to do some really good traveling.
Oh. What happened? Now you're muted, Joel.
I was messing with the wrong button.
Oh.
And then Dallas for WrestleMania, Orlando for Revolution. I got to do a lot of traveling. I think I ended up with 42 wrestling shows this year is the amount that I went to. So I had a fun year, at least.
Good. I'm glad you had a fun year and got to travel and got to see some friends. And I don't know. I am a little bit sad that I did not get to see you at WrestleCade, because that was a very fun time. It seemed like I was very much looking forward to not only seeing all my friends at WrestleCade, but that was going to be my one trip to North Carolina to see my parents at their house. They came to visit me a few times here in Ohio, but I did not get to go to North Carolina at all this year. And that was going to be my trip there, and I did not get to go due to COVID. So I'm sad that I missed out on seeing my friends and my parents.
You know what? I'm I was just thinking to myself, Caden, why didn't you make a Wrestle Caden t-shirt?
That's what apparently is a thing for next year. Is we're gonna call it Wrestle Caden.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Just take the logo and just boom, Wrestle Caden.
Me and Sean got to beat you up next year. You
I know.
escaped it this year because I wasn't there, but next year, like, we're definitely taking you out.
Oh yeah, I was expecting it, and then Sean was saying he was gonna take me out, and then never did.
Well, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't there. So Sean doesn't work singles. Are you kidding me? He's only working tags nowadays. It's like Naito. Doesn't even take his shirt off for these matches. Just lazy. It's a lazy Sean Ross Sapp. Pro Wrestling Podcast says 2022 is definitely the best year for me. Finally able to come out of my social cell, went to All Out, met some cool ass people. Hope 2023 will be a banger.
Hey,
that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully you can travel more in 2023 or continue to go to events. Wrestling, like, I know Sean has said this a bunch of times, and it holds true. Is like, you see these people online, and there can be jerks and stuff online. You know, there's certain, not sectors, just like trolls and idiots online. You're like, oh, these people suck. But for the most part, when you run into people at wrestling events or you hang out with people at wrestling events, everyone is cool. Everyone is chill. You know, I would say the majority of my best friends. Oh boy, majority of my best friends have come from this wrestling space and whatnot. So yeah, there can be jerks online and stuff, but for the most part, everybody that you meet at a wrestling event is really cool, except for this guy. I don't know how cool this guy is.
What's professional about this professional?
It's professional.
I am a professional.
You
doing, Jonathan Alba?
2020.
I met John Alba this year.
Sorry.
Did we meet this year?
Yeah.
Not earlier?
Super memorable.
No. I mean, I don't mean that. I mean, like, was this the year that we met versus last year?
I think I met you at All Out for the first time.
Oh, really? Oh, then yeah, okay. All right. What a year!
That was the highlight of the year, right, John Alba?
By the way, what I was trying to do earlier, Caden, I wasn't trying to kick you off or anything. I was trying to do the spotlight mode, which I don't want me in the spot. I wanted the speaker in the spotlight.
No, that's too much work.
Well, I can do that. I can still get that.
All right, fine. If you want to mess around with that, go for it.
I just wanted to come on here and just send my love to you all because I love you. I mean, I really do. Honestly, this year has been so challenging. I mean, for me personally, but I know for a lot of people it was really a challenging year, and especially if your name is Billy Corgan. But I just want to send my best to everyone, the three of you included in that. Jeremy, I've had something that I've been trying to send to you for a long time, but I had a few disruptions, including in the U.S. Postal Service. So it's coming your way. I promise you that, as a little belated for you, but it's going to make your year. I promise you that.
Is it
it's going to make my 2023?
Oh, I still haven't sent the gifts I have to give you.
Oh, no, this is better than a gift.
So Jonathan Alba, Caden, and Cher Delaware have all promised these gifts from October.
It's coming.
And
mine's in my trunk still.
Am I the only one who gave you a proper gift?
No, it's coming. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming.
That's a big deal right here.
Now, Denise Salcedo gave me a very nice gift, and we actually
Denise
lost
still owes
her.
me $550 for the record.
I don't believe you.
Oh, you gave that up. You were done with that.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, Denise Salcedo is a saint who owes nothing to nobody. We actually did lose our thank you card when we tried to mail
there
it.
You go.
So, but we found it, and it's in the mail. I messaged her, and I was like, sorry about that. She got our Christmas card, though. All right, I trust.
Where was my Christmas card?
I don't have your address.
I didn't get a Christmas card.
I got a Christmas card.
I don't send Christmas cards. I'm a Scrooge.
Wait, did you not get a Christmas card, John Alba?
No, I didn't get a Christmas card.
Oh, I'm gonna yell. Hold on, let me message the wife. Why didn't we send? Did we not send John Alba a Christmas card?
Do you want to know what I'm sending to you? I'll show it to you if you want.
No. I want to be surprised.
Okay, you want me to
be surprised.
All right.
John, out of your entire 2022, I know there were challenges. I know there was a lot of ups and downs. What would you say? It doesn't have to be wrestling related. Like, what would you say was like your your like top moment if you had to pick one or a couple from the year? Just something that stands out to you.
That like happened to me, or
Yeah,
like
that happened to you. That happened to you.
Top things that happened to me. Getting to do the Omega panel at WrestleCade was really one of the coolest things I've ever done, because I feel like Omega, if you are like a wrestling fan, Omega is like this folklore of 90s tape traders, and getting to bring some of them back to life in panel form on pay-per-view, that was a really cool thing that I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have gotten to. I also can't believe that like myself alongside several others in our circle were there front and center for a night that changed pro wrestling history with the All Out press conference. That was just surreal. He's eating him. I see what you're doing there, Jill. That's funny.
Can you manage a target?
I was with Cher Delaware during that. We were driving back to my hotel. She was giving me a ride, and we're just watching the press conference.
Yeah. It was. Again, it was more of a like in hindsight thing. It probably took me about 24 hours to be like, wow, that was actually pretty significant. That was fairly significant. But honestly, man, like just these opportunities to get to see people is always something that I look forward to. I went to 13 weddings this year. It would have been 14 if I'd been able to trek out to Ohio, but we can thank some outside circumstances.
People got beat up.
Both my parents got married this year, and my grandma got married this year, and Jeremy got married this year. It was a great year for weddings.
That's unique.
Yeah.
Your parents and your grandmother got married. That is unique. That is extreme.
Everybody got married.
No, I didn't.
Alba. Well, there's always 2023, John Alba.
Have you asked Cher Delaware if she's around or no?
You've asked Cher Delaware if she's around. I can't coerce her into doing any of these things. Gotcha. She's on about 15 dating websites now, so just sign up for one of them. You can message her.
Okay.
No. We're signing her up for Farmers Only this week.
Oh, she don't have to be lonely.
Yeah.
Her and I already made allusions to that on a show we do on this channel called Strong Style.
Graham B says the Extreme Life was the bed podcast,
Graham.
Best podcast of 2022.
I agree with that, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh.
And Jeremy, thank you for your coverage of it, because you've been a loyal coverer.
I try.
John, I'm sorry that I slept through the Omega panel. I was so tired.
Wow.
You're not sorry about that.
What a dick.
I wanted to go. I set my alarm and I was like, I can't do this.
What a dick.
Joel, can you like take him down for a hot second and just bring him back up?
No, just take him down completely.
There we go. I've done this before. I'll do it again.
You can bring him back up. It's okay.
No, just leave him out. Who cares?
We're
Pro Wrestling Podcast says, I know I had my 15 minutes of fame from this, but CM Punk commenting on my Instagram post was the highlight of 2022
that's neat.
in my wrestling life. So I saw CM Punk's comment. Obviously, we ran article and everything on it. And then I checked the page and stuff. You do really cool things with like the graphics and the articles.
Oh, yeah, he does. Absolutely.
And everything.
I was on his podcast. I was either early this year or last year. I forget. And he does good work.
Yeah, like that was sweet. I apologize. I'm sometimes out of the loop with this stuff. I either know all the new stuff or I know none of it. But with this, I was out of it. And once I saw the page and saw like the graphics and everything, it's like, oh, this is a nice like aggregation stuff here. So you should be proud of all the stuff you do. I really like the setup you got going on the Instagram comments like that. Or the Instagram
Speaking
page.
of graphics, I'm pissed. So
why?
You know the AEW like gradient type logo that they have, that they do like the match graphics for? Mm-hmm. I tried to do my own version of that for my podcast, and so I could have like a cool thumbnail that looked awesome. It took me 3 hours to learn how to do, and then they got rid of it, and now it's just a basic logo again.
Well, you still just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a you problem, Katie.
Yeah,
it is a you. It's 100% of me a problem. It's just annoying. I spent a lot of time figuring that out. I texted Will Washington to see if he could help me. He didn't know what to do either. I texted multiple people and nobody knew how to do it. So I had to just keep trying shit.
Have you considered messaging Jeff? I hear Jeff is the guy to speak to at AEW.
Yeah, Jeff knows everything.
Yeah, you just got to find out who Jeff is. By the way, shout out to Sully. I met Caden this year. I thought he was a nice guy, but then he had talked trash about having better seats.
I had worse seats.
Ryan.
I had worse seats than them, and then SP3 and Alex, Queen of the Ring, found me better seats in front of them. So I ended up getting better seats.
You should have punched him.
Coming off the top rope was one of my favorite moments of 2022. Did you enjoy that, Jeremy?
I did. When you sent that to me, I was a little bit worried you broke every bone in your body, but I'm glad you were okay.
I also bumped at the ECW arena. That was very cool.
Cool. That's a special moment.
Mm-hmm. That was very cool. I very much enjoyed that. There was a little slow push at the end by the camera, and it was very like end of Curb Your Enthusiasm music starts playing. That was definitely a highlight.
I think my highlight is still something I cannot believe happened. I was in the room while Will Washington was doing Grapsody. And I was it's Will doing Grapsody. We're all sitting at a table. I'm doing some shorts editing on my laptop at the same table. And then next to me is Denise Salcedo working on stuff for Wrestling Observer. So it's all three of us. And that was just for someone who started the year not being on Fightful, not knowing where I was going to go this year and what I'd be able to do in this space, to end the year with that type of moment was just really big for me and really just kind of hit me in a way that I was like, this is just awesome.
So it's the day of Jeremy's wedding. I'm sharing an Airbnb with Denise Salcedo and with our friend Cher Delaware. And of course, my wife is with me and Denise's husband is there, and Cher has her kids. The morning of, Denise and I both have to do our respective podcasts, and we're both bullish people, so we end up doing our shows in the rooms that are basically right behind each other. And she took the kitchen because she wanted us the nice lighting and
great acoustics.
Yeah, the acoustics were not a thing, but yeah, exactly. And I was like next to a wall with a light, and I was like, good enough. Guess whose podcast was more audible than the other? Yeah. It was so weird, just like having her do her show with Will at the same time as I'm trying to do my piddly ass Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring here on Overbooked. And people are like, I can hear Denise in the background. And then people in Denise's chat being like, I can hear nothing in the background.
But wait, okay, your piddly show, Joel Pearl. Which show had a run-in from the groom of the day?
That's true. Sean Ross Sapp did show up.
Sean Ross Sapp got married this year too. Wow.
Both of you did show up for whatever reason, and it was very funny and very strange.
Did a run-in I think 2 hours before I was about to walk down the aisle and actually get married.
What a wild experience. Oh my goodness.
This year was crazy.
Yeah,
I was there when Denise met a furry.
That doesn't sound sanitary.
I have a picture of it.
You're not supposed to talk about what I do in private publicly.
The NDA is expired. We've been through this.
And then I'll put John Alba over. I had a great time with John in Winston-Salem. I made some great memories there and got to talk a lot with him and Dax, Speedball a little bit too. Talking to Dax was awesome. Oh my God, I love Dax Harwood. And then I got to actually spend time with John Alba for the first time, and I had a really good time.
That was a good time. WrestleCade was great. I had an awesome time at WrestleCade. That was definitely something I look forward to doing that was my first time going. I was bummed right there, Jeremy. I was really looking forward to
it. I said it earlier before you popped on. I was really looking forward to it because I've gone the past 2 years that they've had it. They didn't have it the 2020 due to COVID, but it was 2021 and 2019. It was really fun. And I was saying North Carolina, this is going to be my one trip to North Carolina to see my parents this year as well. So I was bummed that I did not get to see them.
Yeah, we'll do it next year.
Yes, I'll be there next year.
We'll do the Omega 2 panel.
There you go.
Two Omega 2 Furious.
Graham sends a super chat. Adrenaline in my soul. #1 podcast. Tim and Joel.
You didn't read that correctly. You got to read it correctly.
Go for it. You read it. Read it, John.
Adrenaline in my soul. #1 podcast. Tim and Joel.
You're the singer. I can't sing. I can't sing. Guys, remind all the super chat money goes to paying Overbooked contributors because they all deserve it and they all do a great job on this channel. From Tag Talk with Haley and Kylie, from New Japan Bread Club with Matt and Karen. Karen's actually in Japan right now, hitting up all the shows. this week. The man is a world traveler.
I wish.
It helps by them. SP3, who we do FMC with, and who else? I'm probably forgetting a bunch
Rob
of
and
people.
Maggie.
Rob and Maggie. Yes, I don't think of them because I pay them directly most weeks, so I don't PayPal them.
People get paid for this?
Yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah.
This is the year I pay Tim.
Yeah, I actually make sure to pay the contributors and on this channel. I wish I could pay more, but you know, I'd like to say we're a small channel, like we're kind of not. There's a lot of stuff with this channel, and maybe at the end of the show I'll get into a lot of stuff that I haven't really talked about before.
Stick around for the juicy bits.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Podcast says, here's the you overbooked too. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Can I get those $2 from that super chat there?
No, you're not getting
Tim. We've already been through this.
You're not part of this channel, Joel Pearl. All right, well,
I'm not the one getting paid. It goes to Tim, I said.
Yeah, well, I pay you, Joel. You get paid something for some reason.
I'm
not part of this channel, John Alba. John Alba, you should be part of this channel. You don't.
I should be part of a lot of things.
You should be.
I've been saying that for years.
You are.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
Joel, that's so kind of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were we talking about you?
John. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just telling Josh that I'm sending him the link. I was letting the show go on a little bit, and then I was gonna start sending out some links.
Okay.
Hey, before you have the next super chat, this is great. Split it up 4 ways.
Hey, look, man, get a nice gumball with that quarter.
That's right. It'll last a good 2 hours before you're just like, ugh.
Ryan says, sincerely great channel. Love all the shows and what you guys do. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Ryan's always been supporting. I know he likes Kate the best, but that's fair.
No, man, I will shout out Ryan a million times because every time I make any joke about a Reese's peanut butter cup, he ends up buying me a half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup. I have 4. I have 4. That's 2 pounds of Reese's peanut butter cups sitting in my fridge right now, thanks to Ryan Sullivan.
I'm jealous of this. I'm super jealous of this.
Joel, you were awesome this year in the Iron Survivor Challenge match.
Oh, thank you very much.
They finally let you wrestle like you're supposed to.
Thank you. I've been working on my BMI, getting into those little trunks. And did you know that in order for me to add The Rock's daughter to my stable, I only had to offer her $7?
There you go.
Wow. That's all it takes.
Mike says Tag Talk continue their supremacy in 2023. I absolutely love Tag Talk. I just switched the background to the Tag Talk background. It's I don't play favorites here on Overbooked. It's my favorite show here on Overbooked. Everything that Haley and Kylie do are fantastic. I'm very sad when Sean's gonna tell me that he's moving Tag Talk to the main channel at some point in 2023. Because I assume that's going to happen. But yes, Haley and Kylie are great, and I look forward to everything they're working on in 2023.
Yeah, echo every statement involved there. I remember us, them pitching to us doing that show. And it was it's so good. I'm so happy that they're finding their community and that they are doing this content and that they are succeeding and finding it here. And yeah, it's gonna suck when Sean calls them up to Maine, but at least you know that we had a hand in.
Jeremy, can you and I start a show where we exclusively talk about super niche athletes from the late 90s and early to mid 2000s? Like strictly, that is all we discuss.
Okay, like who do you have in mind?
I just think my greatest bit that I ever did this entire year on
it was good.
What's your NBA draft?
Yeah, that was
fantastic. I did that right over there too. I did that stream. That was awesome.
I was very sad of that. It was a great bit. I was very sad of that stream because we'd planned to do this draft stream and everything, and SP3, Romeo, and a couple other guys were there, and then Sean is interviewing Kenny Omega this same night. And so, of course, being the transcription person that I am, like, well, guys, gotta leave the NBA draft watch along and gotta go transcribe 3 million words on Kenny Omega. I was very sad that my night off turned into one of my busier nights of the year, which is
talking about Joakim Noah.
You were asking about Joakim Noah. That was great. That was a very good bit. Very good bit. We do have a guest, Josh Mitchison. Make sure I get that right. How you doing, man?
Hello, everyone. How is everyone?
What's up?
Good. How has your 2022 been or was?
It's been great. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on here with such great podcasters because it's
and
great.
Caden and Joel.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't
And
know what you're talking about.
A pleasure.
Pleasure to be on here with John Alba. I agree.
It's been a bit surreal for me because this has been the first year where I've done. I'm a student and I'm doing my dream job already, but I'm not getting paid for it. I want to be a radio host, and it's sort of been. I've done live radio for the first time this year, and it's been really special. I know Joel's said on Twitter a couple of times that he's been interested in radio. I remember him mentioning that.
Comes from my background.
Yes.
From my
Well,
That's
awesome.
very cool.
That's awesome that you're making that happen for yourself. It's, communications and broadcasting is a field where not only is it passion fueled, but it's also tangible. It's every bit of effort and work you put into it is what you're going to get out of it at the end of the day. And there are a lot of fields where you have to take tests and study and all that stuff. But this is the kind of field where you only get better by actually doing it. Or you go to the Alba Media School at albamediaschool.com.
Which me and you have had a conversation about a few times. It is something
Right.
I'm going to look into New Year. So
one-on-one consultations, baby.
yes, learn from one of the best.
Do you teach people how to plug like that?
See, you thought that was like a sentimental talk I was giving, and it was actually just a long.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, Josh, that's awesome, man. That's so cool that you're doing that for yourself.
Something that I wanted to mention is, although this year's nearly over, I want to speak about wrestling a little bit. I want to speak about next year in wrestling. Of each one of you got sort of someone who you think is going to break out in, like maybe an indie favorite, or someone you think is going to break out into sort of bigger wrestling.
Caden, go.
I think it's going to break out. Billy Starks.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Joel, got a name?
Bhupinder Gujar. Absolutely. I've seen him a million times and I watch him on Impact now. He's got a look. He's been being put over by a lot of his peers as well. So Gujar is the guy for me.
John Alba?
Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo.
He's already there.
No,
Yeah.
I think Carmelo Hayes is going to be like Seth Rollins level big. I really do believe that.
I said Carmelo Hayes should beat John Cena at WrestleMania this year.
Wow.
I think that's what should happen. Mine is Alec Price. He's on.
There you go. That's a smart man right there. Look at you.
Steven Jensen's got me watch so much indies nowadays, and I've been watching a lot of Alec Price, and he's good. He just wrestled Alex Shelley. Like, yeah,
he was my indie breakout star of the year last December, saying that this would be his year. And dude, Alec is one of those guys where you just feel with everything he does.
Yeah,
he's a special talent.
He's great. Alec Price, if you're listening or if this hits your radar, please come on the spotlight.
It's a banger buster.
Please come on the spotlight and talk to Stephen Jensen.
I can make that happen.
Please. All right. Well, let's have my people call your people. Okay.
I'll text him right now.
John Alba's just gonna book a guest for me.
John Alba's people is John Alba.
Yeah, my people is just me.
No, it's one of the kids. Just start putting them to work.
It's usually Jensen. Jensen's the person who books like 95% of the indie guests. So
yeah, 95% of them are Baron Black.
It's true.
Yeah. Talking of independence, this is the first year I've really watched independence, and I'm in the UK. And this year has been just amazing for British wrestling. And I think next year, with ROH starting up, I think we're going to see a few of the British independent, like people that we know are so good over here and are starting to get on the radio in the US, are going to have a massive year. I think ROH needs to sign Michael Oku because I think he's just ridiculously good. If you haven't seen his match versus Will Ospreay, my match of the year. And I think Robbie X is also going to have a big year. He's got a match against Will Ospreay, which I'm going to see live, which I'm really excited about. Nice. I just think he's going to have an amazing year next year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think all those names you listed are certainly people that I'd be on the lookout for. Absolutely. And I noticed too, Jeremy, Pro Wrestling Podcast in chat said Nick Wayne is somebody that totally could break out.
Nick's a guy that I feel is like already there. Like the man signed to AEW, even though he can't compete in AEW. But he could certainly break out on more of a national level. Michael Oku, I know a lot of people have put him over. I've listened to a couple interviews with him, and I know he wants to do more like U.S. independent work. And I hope that happens for him, because that is definitely a name that big on the British scene. I don't think a lot of like American fans know him, but if he can come over here more consistently and work more like independent loops, I definitely think he'll be a name on a lot of people's radar.
100%.
See in the chat, someone said Matt Hardy. He's already established. I think he's.
A-Shock is saying get Matt Hardy. I think to be on the spotlight, which I don't. Matt Hardy's way too big of a guest for our show. There was a question
for that Jeff guy that you mentioned.
Yeah, there was a question. When will John Alba host a Rebby Hardy based podcast?
Stay tuned.
Oh boy.
Rebby Hardy said "fuck you" to me, so
that's fantastic. You probably deserved it.
Rebby Hardy is my favorite human being after that.
Legit. My favorite text that I got from 2022. We were putting together that big ass 30 years of Matt Hardy video together for his anniversary, and I knew that with Rebby, you got to be careful. You don't know if you include the wrong person. You never know what's going to happen. I was just like, hey, here's a list of all the people that I've got. Like, I just want to make sure this is all cool with you. She goes, everything's fine, but there's just one rule. And I said, what is that? She said, no whores allowed. And if there are, I'll burn your house down.
The best tweet this year was from Rebby after Matt tweeted about like opinion stuff right after the Lacey stuff hit. And Rebby is just like, who the fuck thinks he's defending someone else? I would have murdered him if you guys thought that. Something like that. I was like, yeah, that checks out. That 100% checks out.
That was just such bad timing, because Matt ambiguously tweeted that at like the same exact time that Lacey had her tweet, and it was just all these people just in his DMs, and oh god, and then Rebby had to come out, and I think her first tweet was, "Where were you January 6th?" Oh my god.
Wade Keller tells a story of he did a torch talk with Matt. And apparently, like midway through this conversation that he's having with Matt Hardy, Rebby like busts into the room and like interrupts the entire flow, bitches out Matt because like he's going over time and he's being nice and he's being sociable and he's enjoying the conversation with Wade. And then Rebby's just like, you said it would be 30 minutes. It's been 45. What is this bullshit? And Wade talks about it all the time. And I love that. It's even the thing started. I think it was 10 years ago. This stupid conversation happened, and he brings it up.
Episode 3 of our podcast, I think. We're going, and we were at like the hour and a half mark, and we were wrapping up, and she just burst in on screen and goes, 2 fucking hours? What are you doing? 2 fucking hours? What the fuck can you be talking about for 2 hours?
Amazing.
The best.
Josh, I'm gonna give you a chance to plug anything you want to plug and say any parting words for everybody. So we're trying to get some other people on here, but thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you very much for having me on. You can find me on Twitter at Josh Mitchison Radio, and you can find my YouTube and stuff over there in the new year. I'm proper giving that a go. It was my birthday yesterday, and I got a proper PC and everything.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So I can fully edit and record and do stuff the quality I want to do. Excellent. So I'm very looking forward to that.
Well, good luck with everything this year, man.
Thank you.
Good luck in 2023. I speak for myself and maybe others on this panel. But if you ever need anything, DM one of us. You can certainly DM me if you have questions about anything, and I will not charge you like John Alba will to answer all your questions.
I like charging it. It makes good money.
Thank you, Josh. We appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us this afternoon.
Happy
I'm not going to bring this person on. I'm pretty sure she can just bring herself on. So, Sam, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
Hi, Kate. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Kate.
Upsetting.
Hi. See, I finally have a podcast set up.
Oh, wow.
She's about to go back to me.
Internet already robbing her out. I can't believe it. And so is Jeremy's.
Oh, there's info.
For old time's sake, I kind of had to. Now you're big league and you like have the backstage access yourself. It's really lame. It's unfortunate that like you can do all that stuff and I can't just like mute your mic and take you off stream whenever I want. Same with Joel. Joel's got the backstage access. I can't just like take you guys off stream whenever I want like I used to. It's sad. It's sad how much power I've lost.
It's okay.
It's true, but I respect kayfabe, man. If you let me know ahead of time, I would have played along. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna let Sam speak. Sam, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
How was your 2022?
It was really good. I saw Claudio win the ROH title at Death Before Dishonor.
Nice.
That was like my first pay-per-view ever.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Trying to think what else. Just watched a ton of wrestling, played a ton of music, and
Same.
I have a podcast now, and
Nice.
yeah.
Put that over if you so choose.
Yeah, let everyone know where they can find.
Hell yeah, man. Plug
Yeah.
away.
So my podcast is the Squared Post Podcast. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify. We might have it other places too, but yeah, we only have like 3 or 4 shows because my co-host's been like going in between stuff and trying to find time to do it on a regular basis and stuff. So
Same.
Sam, you grew facial hair. I think
Yeah.
of you as a 16-year-old kid, which I guess you're 17 now. But
I was gonna say, no, he's
you
still
grow
16.
facial hair this year.
gonna be 23 next year.
I don't. That's a
Don't believe it.
friggin' lie. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
That's
I'm gonna
not
card
true
you.
at all. That's not true at all. Don't
You're
lie
gonna
to
you're gonna
people,
show up in
Sam.
Elimination Chamber, and I'm gonna be like, no. Where's his ID?
I was thinking about going to Elimination Chamber. I might.
I'll go if Sean and Jimmy get me
Good
there.
luck.
Yeah, I
Good
know.
luck. If you see Joel Pearl there, punch him in the face. I'll reimburse you for whatever jail money, whatever might happen to you. I'll reimburse all of that. It's all coming out of Joel's paycheck, but I'll reimburse you for it.
If somebody wants to pay for my via rail train ticket to Montreal from Toronto, I will consider going to Extreme Rules to Elimination Chamber.
Don't do
Sorry,
it.
I pulled a Ronda Rousey there.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
So
me, it's
much
an
fun.
8-hour drive or whatever, like 14 hours, I think, or something like that. So
Yeah, it's a 6-hour train ride, I think.
That's not bad. Up
You
on
can-
that. Up on
Yeah.
that rail. That's the first time I've ever said that.
I don't think I've been on the train at all, like ever. I'll go on one eventually, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go on one in the middle of winter. I'll put it like that.
Mm.
yeah.
Bad.
Kate and I have NJ Transit. It's great.
Oh, that's right.
I was gonna say we have a bad train, but I will say all the shows that I've wanted to go to this year are within like an hour, 2 hours from me. So I'll take that. I got to go to like 5 shows and not have to travel too extensively. So I will go for that.
Kate,
100%.
how was your 2022? I don't actually care, but I guess I'm asking.
Kate, I posted a very nice picture of the two of us on Twitter today.
Oh,
That was one of my favorite moments of 2022. I hope it was one of
I
yours.
know. We got
I
to
just
hang
want to point out
out.
when I asked John Alba what his favorite moments of 2022 were, he did not mention that.
He did not confirm.
I promise. It was Kate.
Now that she's here, it's one of his favorite moments. But before
waves.
that,
2 waves for John Alva. No, this was mostly stupid, but it was good too. It was a very weird year, I keep saying, because there was some really dumb stuff, but on the other hand, there was some really great stuff, right? Like I did 300 podcasts. I've gotten to do so much more at Fightful and the wrestling space in general. Got to meet people that I had only virtually met because we were in pandemic mode. Like that part of the year was great, but then like, you know, my dog tried to bite my face off and then died 6 months later. Like there was a lot of dumb personal stuff that happened, but very thankful for the good stuff because otherwise it would have been extremely, extremely rough, and also very excited to put this year in the rear view. So
Ditto.
can you bring CM Punk back to wrestling? Like I think you're the only hope at this point.
I mean, we have tweeted at each other twice, so I will do my best in that regard. But it's not a lack
Yeah,
of
see if
me
you can get
marking
AJ
out.
too.
Oh my god, I would love that. I would love that almost equally as much. Like she's a huge influence on me. But it's not a lack of me being a mark for him. If that's if that's the reason. So
Jeremy and I figured out a way to bring CM Punk back to AEW and to work with the Elite. We figured it out on Newsworthy this past week.
Joel, I don't remember this at all. I know we recorded this yesterday, but I don't remember what I had for breakfast. So asking me to remember what we recorded yesterday.
I know I was setting up the comments. Anyway,
what did we say that is bringing CM Punk and the
CM
Elite
Punk
back?
is buying gift cards. He's buying.
Starbucks gift cards. Yeah, that's how
in the locker room. So instead, CM Punk just needs to buy sneaker gift cards for all the members of the Elite, and everyone will be happy and they'll all work together.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I thought so.
And we asked, can they coexist?
That's it. That is it. I do. What do you guys think? The more time goes on, do you feel more optimistic about him coming back, or less optimistic about him coming back?
I think if I could pick right now, I think he's coming back.
Interesting. I kind of.
What do you think?
And you've seen all my tweets about Punk. You've seen everything I've said. You more than anybody, and I really want him to come back.
I miss his wrestling. Everybody should get to feel safe at work. That's first and foremost. But there's a lot of money to be made, and his wrestling is some of my favorite wrestling of all time. That's obviously I want to see him back, but I want people to be happy more than I want that. So we'll see. What do you guys think?
I want him and Chris Jericho in a match.
Who would win a shoot fight between CM Punk and Chris Jericho?
You could just go watch WrestleMania.
I was gonna say,
come on,
Jericho will fight anybody regardless of size and intent. Man, Goldberg
he's fought Goldberg. I mean,
kiss Brock Lesnar on the forehead. Come on.
I mean, this is old. Younger. I guess CM Punk's kind of old too.
Yeah, he's 42 or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, sounds right.
Wrestling. All your favorites are old.
I would take Punk. He had the jiu-jitsu background. He'd tap him out. That's my official prediction.
Wow.
At least it would go on for 8 months, though. We would have that.
Yeah.
Be CM Punk and FTR versus Jericho for 18 months.
Oh God, Jake Hager gets in on it too.
All Jake would say the entire time is, "I like this hat," a billion times.
That's it.
Oh yeah, and Punk would just be like, "I like these muffins."
That's it.
That's it. You got it.
Shout out to Mindy's Muffins, the real champion of the year.
No man, Spindrift. I saw a box of Spindrift today and immediately thought of CM Punk, and I was like, I think he moved into my building.
Sam, do you wanna plug anything? Any final words? We have another guest backstage that I guess I'm going to bring on.
Yeah. Again, I have a podcast called Score Post Podcast. You can find it pretty much everywhere. Kate, your shows with Alex are great.
Thank you.
We don't condone
appreciate
lying.
that.
I like it when people lie to our co-hosts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And everyone have a great new year, and hope 2023 is going to be just as wild as this year.
Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year, Sam. Hope the Canadians stop sucking for you, or they get Connor Bedard.
God, I hope. We need Bedard.
If they get Bedard, then it's fine. It'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Cheers.
Bye, buddy. All right.
I've heard squared posts are harder than round posts. Chris Jericho mentioned that once or twice.
Thanks, Taz.
Kai is in the chat. He says, "Hey everybody, y'all are amazing. So glad that I spent many podcasts just listening to y'all banter and bullshit through them. So much fun. And yeah, I guess there's wrestling too. Allegedly, there's wrestling. Kai is always supporting. Kai is he tagged AEW and WWE to try to get me a transcription job. That is my dream job, to just get paid a couple $1,000s a month to transcribe one podcast instead of one podcast a week. Be great instead of 15 a day. Be fantastic. So TK, you won't send me a shirt, but give me a job, maybe.
I don't know who does the copy for the AEW like results page, but they deserve all the credit in the world.
Oh, they're good. Their
so
results page is like super detailed.
Yeah, it's super detailed, and they have like they take scripts and they just write out like all the dialogue from promos. And I look at it, I'm just like, this is perfect. I can reference this all day.
What does Reggie have to do with anything?
Everything.
Script.
Anyway, Poe says, I'm waiting for her to read. As I was trying to read the super chat. That's why I was delayed.
People should look out for who aren't signed to AEW or WWE. Also, Veda Scott rules. Veda Scott does rule. I would say Miranda Alizé is on that list for sure.
And Tag Talk is the best show on here. I will never dispute that ever.
Becca is a woman you should all be looking out for. The pop star Becca. She's going to be a big breakout indie talent in the next year.
I'll stand by Billy Starks.
Hell yeah.
Every time.
Jody Threat. Always. Gotta rep my
Love
home.
Jody Threat. Love me some Jody Threat.
And also Nikita, who just came back after like a 10-year absence to the Canadian indie scene. She's starting to get her.
Joel, I've never felt so like welcomed by someone while simultaneously feeling absolutely scared shitless to be in their presence as I had with Jody Threat.
Dude,
unquestionably.
Jody is like the nicest and weirdest.
The nicest, but could beat the living shit out of me if I struck the wrong way, like genuinely.
Did I ever tell you Jody's reason for not being able to do an interview with me once?
What was it?
I have to go pick up my dog from the sitter. And she was being legitimate. Like, it was actually what happened. She's like, the show was going long. My dog is with the sitter. I'm so sorry. It's like she was so apologetic.
Do you guys know how Jody Threat got into wrestling?
Wrestling her dog?
She's not wrestling her dog, no. She like went to a bar with a friend and like saw wrestling happening at it and was like, I've never watched this before, but I'm gonna do it. And that's how she got into wrestling.
Sounds about right.
It is really good.
And I bet you it was a Casanova Valentine joint that she saw.
It was like 5 years ago, too. It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, she's wild. Love her to pieces. Great wrestler. Great human.
Ace Shock says Shishadora. That's my pick as well.
Yeah.
Greg Carter says Jungle Konya. Did I say that right? I don't think I did.
It's
Kiona, sorry. Inevitable American Run. There you go. And Josh says when she's back from a knee injury, Alex Windsor.
Makito's back in the States. She's eating Five Guys.
Jared Bailey's here. Hi, Jared Bailey.
Gateway laptop.
Let's talk about Kenny Pickett for 20 minutes.
My fucking computer. Of all things. Jesus Christ.
Old ass laptop.
Jared Bailey, can you say nice things about Jeff Jarrett?
Bye, guys. That's my cue to leave.
No, you stay. We had to talk about Jeff Jarrett once. Oh, god damn it.
About Jeff Jarrett. I talked to Jeff Jarrett once. We were in the midst of setting up an interview and we had a decent back and forth. And he was like, yeah, I definitely want to do this. Let me just key in my publicist or whatever the fuck. And he queued in the publicist, like the email thread. I never heard a thing back after that. So that's about the nicest thing I could say about Jeff Jarrett.
Joel, can you say nice things about Jeff Jarrett?
Jeff Jarrett started his 2022 in a very top match card lineup position on a GCW first ever pay-per-view, and he's about to start 2023 by receiving an AEW World Tag Team title shot. In the interim, he worked for WWE and had a very, very lucrative opportunity with his podcast.
Are you reading his Wikipedia or something?
Yeah.
Hall of Fame bag getter, Jeff Jarrett.
I can say a lot of good things about Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff has a father. His father's name is Jerry.
Jeff Jarrett is an American professional wrestler.
No, listen, say what you want about Jeff, and I understand he's a very polarizing guy.
God. Say what I want about Jeff Jarrett. That doesn't match up with the super chat saying nice things about Jeff Jarrett.
There are few wrestlers who had legitimate heat every time they stepped to the ring, as Jeff Jarrett did, the amount that he did in 2022. At Ric Flair's last match, I was there in that building. It was some of the most intense heel heat I've ever heard from anybody, ever. And again, you can say as to why that may be or whatever the reasons may be. But as a performer, that is what you look for. And he definitely carries a lot of that and emotes that as a performer.
He's very
Kate,
strong.
Say something nice about Jeff Jarrett.
He's very strong considering he's a dork with a guitar fetish. He has very big muscles.
He's in very good shape.
He is in great
He is
shape.
in very good shape.
Give him that.
Jeff Jarrett has one of my favorite theme songs of all time.
The Slapnuts one from WCW, right?
Which
100%.
theme song? Yeah.
Cowboy Bob.
My World.
Yeah,
To be clear,
Cowboy
My
Bob.
World. I jam to My World whenever I can. And it's not on Spotify, which I hate.
By the way,
Jeff Jarrett has a top 10 podcast on
He
the
does?
Conrad Network. Yeah.
He's got more than a top 10 podcast on there.
No, I'm saying like just if I was in order of enjoyment, it's a top 10 podcast.
I wish my podcast did the numbers that Jeff Jarrett's podcast did. I can say that.
mean, yours is better, but
I think Jeff's podcast is very good. Listen,
Jeff's podcast. Actually.
I have nothing against Jeff Jarrett. I think Jeff, he's a polarizing guy. There's no doubt about it.
He honestly rules.
Speaking of each other's podcasts, I had to go do my own, but I'll be back before the.
Okay, goodbye, Jarrett.
We got to
Bye,
talk about
Jarrett.
Kenny Pickett for like 20
And the
minutes.
Steelers are
Come on.
frauds. Everybody is saying the Steelers
Yeah,
are
no.
frauds.
Well, I have a Bills writer coming on to talk about Bills Bengals, and then there was a tweet today about Kenny Pickett that I'm gonna just degrade for 20 minutes. So if you want to come join when you're done with that, enjoy.
Sorry, did Jarrett?
Bye,
Bailey just
Jarrett.
say he's got
Bye,
a
AJ
writer named
McClain.
Bill Bengal on his show.
Drew.
Hey,
How you doing, Drew?
new haircut, Drew.
Yes, I posted about that earlier. Had to get rid of some hair, some beard, just do a new thing for 2023. So,
You know that the Christmas lights come down after Christmas, right?
Be nice.
Now at the new
what are
year.
you talking
Yeah,
about?
you can
This is just a
sell it.
standard background for me.
Okay.
Whenever I hear Drew, I feel like I'm listening to a young Sean Connery.
You are not the first person to say that.
I hear it, and I love it. I love every second of it, and I love all you guys. I got to bounce, but Happy New Year to all of you guys, and really from the bottom of my heart, I mean it when I say don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things, especially you, Aiden. Don't pet the sweaty things. Okay.
I'll try not to.
Bye, John Alba. Love you,
Bye,
buddy.
John.
So long, Jonathan.
See you
Bye,
guys.
Professor.
Everyone
Happy New
go
Year,
to
John.
Alba Media School. Go to Alba Media School.
AlbaMediaSchool.com and wrestlingaccordingtoalba.com as well. See you
There
later.
you go there. Bye, Jonathan Alba.
I got a book.
No, what? No.
Oh.
Boo.
Come on, I want to sing songs with SB3.
No, bring him back.
Sorry.
My favorite.
No.
Wait a
SB3
second.
is
Wait a
great.
second. Wait a second. Hold on. I do have a very legitimate question for SP3 before I bring him back. SP3, what is your top Russell Westbrook moment of the year?
So mean.
When he sat on the bench,
He was
full
over on
stop.
the bench.
Full stop.
That's
Full
it.
stop.
Just when he
Full
sat
stop.
on the
When
bench.
he sat on the bench. Hello, everyone. Happy
Hi,
New Year.
SB3.
SB3.
Rob.
Look
Hell
at
yeah,
this.
Rob.
The whole
Hi.
family's here.
All right, before
AJ Styles, you
I-
can have my ankle.
very sad news. Rob Wilkins broke that news to me today.
Just
in
like
our
AJ Styles
staff
broke his
chat.
ankle.
Yeah. well,
Wow, that's mean.
Oh.
Before other people talk and stuff, guys, reminder, you can send a super chat, and all the super chat money that we make today do go to our Overbooked contributors like Rob, like SP3, and none of the rest of these geeks. They don't get anything, but Rob and
I-
SP3.
If you donate, I will pay Tim. That's the agreement.
There you go. Tim will get paid.
look at that.
Everyone
We all
loves
getting
Haley.
paid?
No, you don't get anything.
Not you.
Everything loves Haley and Kylie. So if you donate super chats, they get money. So I feel like that's the biggest incentive to donate super chats is Haley, Kylie, and Maggie get paid.
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are-
Anything.
those are the-
Yeah.
It's a-
Maggie can have whatever like of mine. So
There you go. So
Do I do I get residuals for hits and misses?
no.
I don't remember
Okay.
that show.
It was a good
one
run.
remembers
I
that
don't
show.
remember it either. I think I just made it up.
There's pre-baby Joel and there's post-baby Joel.
Yeah,
Let
two
me tell you about
different
those
people.
Two different.
Two different people. SP3, how was your 2022, buddy?
It was busy. I was in the United States and the UK in 2022, so that was interesting. I spent a lot of time with my twin 2-year-olds who terrible twos is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. So Joel, be prepared. And yeah, I've done a lot of podcasts. I was like doing like tallies of how many of these shows I've done, and it's a lot. And I've seen a lot of wrestling. I've seen over 2,000 matches from my calculation so far in 2022.
Dang.
Wild.
You're on that Stephen Jensen level of match watching. Graham says sacrifice. We had that clip.
Sacrifice!
I want to
That's it.
point out
Absolutely.
before you people start, Rob, we got heat.
Oh boy.
Rob Wilkins and I have heat because that is a clip that I put up, and now he has stolen it and used it on his show, along with my other favorite one that I used to get Tim amped up for every single episode of Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, and that's this one.
Happy anniversary!
One
They
of the
were-
best voice cracks.
They were there, so I'm using them. And I don't know if you saw the footage, but Maggie's like nephew, like just did it out of the blue, and she got it recorded, and it
Amazing.
drives her nuts. So it's even better. So it's fantastic.
Oh man.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to
Yes.
pop y'all. That's all good. Hey, who's
Rob Wilkins, how was your 2022?
You know, kind of like Drew's show, hit and misses. But you know what? Going into 2023, it's going to be a lot better. So that's the best way to look at it.
Hell yeah. Like half your body is missing for the beginning of this year. Holy shit,
that's a
dude.
good- that's a good point. That I like. That I like.
Congratulations
Thank you.
Yes,
thank
on
you.
being healthy. I would classify that as miss for this year for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's gone.
I
That's
gained 30 pounds this year.
there you go. He had it. I gave it to
A
you.
muscle.
so.
A muscle though, Caden, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Pure muscle.
I'm gonna be back in 1 second.
Bye, Joel Pearl.
I'm at SP3 this year.
Go away. Just go, get
was
off.
fun.
Yeah, that was one of the misses for me.
Yeah,
Man,
that's-
don't you
sounds
can't-
about right.
Look, I know the kayfabe, but you offered, you texted and said there's seats in front of me. Come down and sit here.
I don't
Yeah.
believe it.
You're like the little brother I never wanted. You're
That's
like
about right.
you're like the little brother my father probably left on a condom somewhere.
Wow. My God. My God.
I like having you around, but you know, not all the time.
Can I say something nice about SV3 real quickly? It's a first, I know.
Oh man.
So when stuff happened with this channel and everything, and I had to figure some stuff out, I had some ideas, and I had a bunch of ideas, honestly. But one idea that I really had was like, I just want to do a show where we don't talk about wrestling, like largely basketball, but definitely just like Fightful is already a wrestling channel. They do all of the wrestling and everything. I just want to do a show where we don't talk about wrestling. And so go away, kid. So I just want to do a show where we don't talk about wrestling. And I messaged SP3 and I'm like, hey, do you want to do this show with me, like a weekly thing where I think I pitched it actually like every 2 weeks. First off, because I didn't know like what my schedule or anything was going to be. So I think I pitched it like every 2 weeks. You want to do the show where we just like talk about basketball. And then if it goes in other directions, it does. And we'll figure it out. And you're like, yeah, of course. And so we started doing FMC, and it just started in my mind, it was like, because it was Friday morning. So in my mind, it was Friday morning coffee, but then it just could be anything it wanted to be. And of course, then we've been on Tuesdays and Mondays, and like I feel like every single day of the week.
Sure.
But like doing that, and it turned from bi-weekly into weekly, and like doing that show every single week is just always a highlight for me. One, because I get to hang out and talk with you, and two, like it's a break from wrestling. We talk about basketball. We talk about the challenge. We've now got our pal Cher Delaware on there and signing her up for dating websites. It is just a very free for all show, and it's just always fun for me, largely because of like the energy you bring every week and the back and forth that we have every week. And so my nice thing is I appreciate that when I reached out and I was just trying to figure things out, that you were willing to do this, and it went from every 2 weeks to every week into what it is now of just the nonsense that we do every week. So I appreciate you, SV3, as much shit as I give you and will continue to give you every week.
I appreciate all the shit you give me and my Los Angeles Lakers. You keep me on my toes every week. There's not a lot of people that I would go to Cleveland, Ohio for. So I showed my appreciation by going to stepping foot in Cleveland. Now your wedding was so beautiful. That was definitely one of the highlights of my year, being there for your special day, your special moment, and being there with all Sean and Joel and Kate and Kate wasn't there. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Share.
Becca?
Well, I saw Kate at the World on GCW. That was one of my
You did, yeah. We did get
of
to
the
meet
year
in
as
person.
well. Yes,
Hell yeah.
yes. So I got to see all the great people from Fightful, and I feel like a part of the family. So I want to thank you, Jeremy, for kind of opening the forbidden door for the new media forbidden door to come into Fightful Overbooked. Like I said here, I'm the Roderick Strong of Fightful. You talked earlier about Haley and Kylie. They're gonna get called up to the main roster of Fightful. Maggie's gonna get called up one day, and she's gonna drag Rob with her because they're tag team partners. That's how it works. Montez Ford, they wanted to call him up. He had to bring Angelo Dawkins. That's you, Rob. You're improving every week. You're improving every week, like Angelo. But me, I'm gonna be here on Overbooked because I'm Roderick Strong. You can put me in the cruiserweight division. You can put me with the rookies in Diamond Mine. You can put me with the top stars like Jeremy, Adam Cole. I'm here. Overbooked. I'm the Roddy Strong.
Do the boom.
I just
did.
did.
There you go.
But
There we go.
I am gonna hop off of here, but I did want to sincerely say that it's pretty cool that everybody that I'm on this stream with, I can calculate very specific awesome things that have kind of happened in their personal lives and stuff, some really, really big milestones for all of you, which is really cool. Some stuff for myself too, but I don't know, I feel like pretty much everyone at Fightful seems to be on the same page of that. Wrestling is great, working with great people is so much more important than any of that, and I can't sometimes just believe that this is a place that I get to call home, even with Jeremy owning Fightful, which was a huge highlight of my year. Actually, Jeremy becoming owner of Fightful is one of my favorite things.
That Lambert guy, the owner,
The Lambert guy.
When
That
you
was a
put
tremendous
Jimmy in
play.
on a bit, it's top notch.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that alongside with somebody was trying to dunk on Sean for the Wall Street Journal getting the Vince McMahon story, and someone was the Wall Street Journal has 1,800 journalists. Sean Ross Sapp has Will Washington and a guy with Christmas lights around his neck, referring to Alex. I was this is perfect. This is exactly where I want to be, how I'm operating. But I'm so thankful that I've had, in what was a challenging personal year, a place like this to hang out most nights and to be able to do so with great people, because love wrestling. The shit ain't worth doing with shitty people. So
They're another.
appreciate you.
They're a different outlet. Love them. They're elsewhere.
Kate, before you leave, I'm going to say nice things about you. And this is not an actual bit or anything. I was actually just gonna kick you off stream. But I hope first off that 2023 personally is better for you, and you're not an 8-time COVID champion like you were this year. Because I know that was but professionally, it has been great to see all you continue to do and the stuff you've continued to take on. And I know you've been helpful to me in some aspects, whether it's just pulling audio, setting up posts, anything like that. And the partnership that you and Alex have continued to have and to watch that grow. And I've put Alex over before, him doing his gaming streams now has been really fun. All the stuff you guys continue to do is just, it's great to see. It's great to see you guys continue to grow professionally after I plucked you out of obscurity a couple years ago and gave you my spots on the Friday night post show.
Well, now Sean left too, so I took his spot, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that was the first thing that I ever did at Fightful, was joking around doing the pipe bomb gimmick, right? So it sincerely is of huge thanks to you and the team that we have here. And none of this works if Jeremy doesn't do what he does really well. Select doesn't work.
That's
the podcasts don't work. It is true. It is true. And I hope you get sent a shirt with Brian Davison's face on it. I really do.
It's not a bit at this point for me. I'm legitimately upset about this.
No, you
I have not
should.
been sent a shirt.
You should get
It's not a
royalties
bit.
too,
You
David.
should
I
get
know.
royalties. Yeah, 100% should get royalty.
Not a
Royalties.
Not a bit.
Royalties,
today.
because you know what, Jeremy, you are royalty. You are the czar of Fightful.
God.
You own the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kate,
I'm the
before
owner.
you
I'm the
leave-
owner.
Kate, before you leave. Oh, yes.
All right, bye.
Good enough.
I was nice. Now she can go. Thanks to Kate for popping on. And
Pop it off.
Well,
Well done, Kate.
I deserve that.
Oh, I loved
Can't even
it.
say. I deserve that. I totally deserve that. SP3, how was your 2022?
You already asked me.
We already asked.
I don't
about
remember
it.
these things. I don't remember these things. Okay.
In
Don't single me out.
2022, me and SP3, we had the math off.
That's true. That was the thing that happened on our silly, stupid show.
That
Yeah.
rigged math off where Jeremy was favoring Caden. No, Caden's really smart. Caden's he's the smart guy. He's TJ Henderson, super intelligent, a fine young gentleman, a 10-year-old whiz kid. He's busting high school, a pugnacious little shorty with 1,000 IQ. He's got away with the ladies. I even saw him at the AEW show. He's keeping it real. His favorite little study buddy. He knows the deal. Daddy says he's a kid. On the Paul Berry phone. Y'all wanted me to keep going?
Yeah, I was gonna let you go. I was
You
gonna
have the
let
floor.
go.
Go
Just
ahead.
start singing it. You can't stop.
I'm not singing. I was explaining Caden being, a smart guy.
I was making a South Park joke for Jeremy.
Well, I told Jeremy I brought some stuff today,
Oh boy.
and I wanted to talk about my wrestler of the year in 2022. He didn't have a lot of matches, but he got me through some rough moments.
Ryback.
Nick
Oh.
Gage.
Nick Cage.
Can you actually
Jesus,
cut?
what
Can
an
you
awful-
blade?
I'm actually cutting.
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
Oh,
go
great.
harder, blade.
Yeah,
Blade
please.
for us.
No, I'm not gonna
Show
I'm
your
not gonna-
commitment
no.
to this channel by blading on the channel.
If
feel
I
like we
had
might
a
get
blade, I'd go get it,
demonetized.
and I would blade and then
No,
cut.
please
But
don't. Please don't. Don't do
I
that.
did
that's
legitimately
not-
rub this against my forehead. I did try to
Oh,
cut my
I thought
forehead
you were going
open.
somewhere else with that, so that's good.
Working on his Estrado. Is that what we're doing?
I guess.
Oh dear.
Who's
Nick
staying
Gage
up to
deserves
watch?
Wrestler of the Year. I'm not mad at that.
And then MLJ, the
Big Dick
spot-
MLJ.
yeah,
Shout
Big
out to
Dick
him.
MLJ, Spotlight Legend
No.
MLJ. His introduction of Nick Gage gets whenever I'm having a rough day, I put that on and I scream it at the top of my lungs, and it's always super fun.
Shout out to MLJ. He's a Degrassi fan. Shout out to the real ones, even though his favorite character is Spinner and not Manny. It should be Manny. Manny's the best character on Degrassi.
My
Just
forehead
saying.
hurts now.
Shout out to Steven Jensen, Degrassi dudes.
Hell yeah.
We ain't do too many. but
Yeah.
We
I'll
did a
probably
lot.
see
I
Jensen
got hit up by so many random people who's like, "Did you do this episode talking about Craig Manning and his three-way relationship with Ashley and Manning?" It was so weird in 2022. I've got to shout out to Steven Jensen for us coming together for that show.
Shout out Craig Manning. I went to summer camp with him.
Yes, the great Jack Epstein.
Great Jake Epstein.
Pro Wrestling Podcast. Hey, we were on a Body Slam show together just last week before he became famous for the CM Punk comment on Instagram.
Wrong way to end your 2022.
Absolutely. If anybody could bring him back, it's
Oh, we already
Pro
figured it.
Wrestling Podcast.
No, we got to do it's gift cards for the elite.
I'm sorry you've
what
had
are
to do work on Body Slam with that asshole Cass.
Oh, sorry,
Shout
the
out to
cast-
Cass. As always,
I love
shout
that
out to
man. He's
Cass.
great.
Why
Yeah,
are
he's
we
either-
giving shout outs to Cass?
He's either in a car,
Cass
or
got me into
driving,
my
or he's at a
hotel in
Waffle House,
Winston-Salem.
or doing Jesus, dog.
I'm not
Cass-
convinced
Cass
Cassidy
drove
doesn't
me-
have shares in Waffle House. Oh shit!
Cass-
Now we got the
Cass
perfect
drove
fucking
me
backdrop.
to the airport after Jeremy's wedding
Oh,
at like
gosh. Yeah,
4
he did.
a.m. in the morning.
Why is this?
I'm like,
How was
oh,
I not invited?
Oh.
How was I not invited?
I don't know. Are they going to give you super chats? For
I scroll my own Twitter feed on my own Twitter, and I see a show that I'm not even invited to with a bunch of people that I've hung out with this year.
Remember when I posted that stream on your Twitter feed of like No Mercy's the worst game ever, and everybody just
Yes.
roasted you in the comments?
Yes, it was
That ruled.
horrible.
That was a fantastic day.
Why are so? What's the rib? Why are we using Haley and Kylie's gimmick?
Oh, Jeremy,
Because Tag Talk
He
is
likes
the
it.
best show on this channel, so
Accurate, that's true.
using their
Also,
gimmick.
so let's
Put
switch
them
it up
over.
and definitely do one with the worst. Bam.
Oh, hey, I'm doing the Jeremy thing. So, there you go.
I'm in the middle like Jeremy. After that night.
Sean, how was your 2022?
It was all right. I mean, it was pretty good. Everybody that worked for Fightful got raises. That made me happy.
True, that made me happy.
I didn't sleep a lot until I started to smoke weed. Then I started to sleep a lot more. So that was a good thing to discover. I found out on the very last day of the year that nobody else that uses StreamYard deletes their old pictures. That's something that I figured out this year.
Listen, I'm not going to say that Sean took inspiration of putting titles over his left shoulder from me.
Possibly. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Caden, what kind of background do you have here? Is this your house? Is this
Yeah,
a place
I'm
that
in,
you've broken into, or?
I'm in Texas right now for winter break, so this is my mom's living room.
Okay, nice.
Give us a tour. How big's the TV that's in front of you?
If I can get this around.
Oh yeah, there it is. Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Let's go.
That's-
It's not as big as I expected. It's a
no, it's not. It's an old TV. I just have Michigan.
You'll hear that a lot in his life.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, Sean, you missed me. I was trying to cut my forehead.
definitely
with
I did witness my best friend drop a pizza roller or pizza cutter on his foot when we were children, and he was like so calm about it, and I was freaking out. I was like,
Nikita fan?
No, not him.
Oh.
Another one. It was my best friend at the time who I ended up beating up like 3 or 4 times as we got older. I knocked him out with Hulk hands. We thought they were as good as boxing gloves. They weren't.
Yeah, no.
It's like a loaded glove, man. They've got a big plastic thing in the middle for you to make a fist with.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, boxing gloves that make your fist go like this, it was not a good idea at all. But yeah, he split his foot open with a pizza cutter, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna have to amputate!" And he's like, "Nah, bro, we're good." Like, okay, then. Look at
Oh,
that.
thank God you found that one.
Yeah, well, it's gone now.
Oh, you
Bam!
I gotta re-upload it.
Got to clean this stuff up. This is
clean it up.
evidently.
This
It seems like it.
clean.
Kate sends a super chat. 20 spot to hear Jeremy recount the wedding suit Seth Rollins story.
Ooh,
there we go.
I'll retell this story. I told it on the FMC, the one about the wedding episode. So, girlfriend, wife's favorite color is purple, and I wanted to include purple in my suit somehow. I ended up going with purple tie, but Seth Rollins wears his eccentric suits and everything, and so I just Googled like Seth Rollins purple suit and found one he wore before WrestleMania. And I just put out on Twitter, I was like, "Hey, Seth Rollins, like, any chance I could get this to wear at my wedding?" And it took off. People like tagged Rollins and stuff, and where it got whatever. It got a lot of engagement and everything. And so Seth messaged me and was like, "Hey," and this was when they were in the UK for Clash at the Castle. So the time difference is like insane at this point. And he messaged me, he's like, "Hey, like, let me see what I can do." I was like, "Oh, well, that's really nice that you even like reached out in the first place. I appreciate that." And then once I got back to the US, he's like, "I think it's in archives." And once I got back to the US, he sends me a video, and Claudio Cesaro had ruined that suit during a segment. And Seth is like, it's in the big suit heaven in the sky. So sorry, man. But he was like so kind about everything, just wishing myself and the wife well on our impending nuptials. And just very like the fact that he reached out and said anything and was like, just was willing to do that and willing to like try to get that sent over. And this is like I was very late on getting my suit for the wedding. This is like a few weeks before the wedding, and he was gonna like get it shipped like overnight and everything. Like he was very kind, very gracious about all of it. And I very much appreciated that he even reached out and did that. And it seemed never met him in real life or anything, but seems like the nicest guy. I've heard just great stories about him, and it's why, like, you say what you want about the Seth Rollins character. I won't say anything bad about Seth Rollins as like the person or anything like that, because the fact that he did that when he was in the UK, even if he was in America, like the fact that he reached out and said all of that meant a lot to me and meant a lot to the wife as well, because he messaged her as well. It was like, congratulations, like, enjoy it. It's the best. So yeah, he messaged her as well and just wished her congratulations. So shout out Seth Rollins. I hope he has a great 2023. And it's all last night. He did the cage match, and him and Becky celebrated and danced inside the cage. It looked like they were having a grand old time. So it looked like he ended 2022 well. So
like Corey and Topanga. Look at that.
Best wishes to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
In that same vein, like, say what you want about Caden.
So
I was waiting to see what I was going to hear.
When Jeremy, when you told me that story, you were about half of a bottle of champagne deep in your hotel.
That sounds about right.
And then we were going to Paris to try and get another one. And then they were like, nah, county closes at 11 p.m.
It's bullshit. Ohio sucks.
Why didn't you hit up Prince's estate to see if he had a purple suit? Rob is up near the area. He could have made it happen. I would have loved to have seen you try to fit into a 5'2" man suit. That would have been just as good.
Rob, you're muted.
To his damn wedding.
Kate says $2 for Sean showing up to work yesterday.
And today, I have shown up on Rob's show, on Kate's now show, on Alex's show, and here. I'm not coming to work Monday. That ain't happening. I'm watching Bills Bengals Monday evening. But
can I get a day off? Like, what are we doing? I'm supposed to have days off.
When the Panthers have a winning season.
It's gonna be a while. We might make the playoffs with a losing record.
That's
all
true.
right. You know how greatness that is?
Listen, buddy, I'm
talent.
ecstatic right now because I get more scoops when the Jaguars are doing well. Tony's in a good mood. So if they clinch the playoffs and the Bengals actually helped them do that, boy, that would be awfully good. That's what we need. I'm pretty sure that the Grapsody interview got confirmed once the Jaguars moved into first place.
Yeah, sure. Can you?
Okay,
so this is apparently when I need to hit up Tony for this shirt. Be like, hey, can I finally get this thing that I willed into existence? Can I finally get this thing? Because I haven't gotten it, Sean. I'm a little irritated.
Somebody actually sent me one. Justin Lopez sent me one.
I can't even.
Listen, I bought the shirt. I'll give it to you if you want.
It's the principle of the matter. Jeff needs to send it to Jarrett.
It is the principle of the matter of me not getting this shirt. Maybe asking for the Danielson autograph was a little too much. I'm biased media for asking him to autograph. But
Jeff is busy copyright claiming all of our Scrum videos and can't even send Jeremy a shirt. Come on now.
Very sad.
Come on, Jeff.
Pro Wrestling Podcast says, got nothing to say. Just wanted to give you guys money. Hey, we'll take it.
Shout out to them for getting the CM Punk comment on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah. They've been in the chat most of the show. And I was putting over like their Instagram page, how they like do the graphics with everything and the headlines. Like, it's really great work. Really great work. A-Shock says, Common Panthers L, still in the playoff hunt. Still in the playoff hunt.
Hey,
what made you want to do a Bengals podcast, Sean?
The fact that virtually anything I enjoy has to be turned into content or work to some degree. I feel guilty if I enjoy anything outside of anything in life. But there was somebody that hit me up earlier this year, and they're like, hey, I could probably get you to cover the Bengals for so-and-so, and you'd be in the media row or the press room or whatever. And I thought about it, and I was like, that sounds horrible. Like, Jeremy, you went to a Bengals game with me. It's one of the only things that I enjoy outside of wrestling and I can go to and not work at all. And I would not like to behave myself while I'm there.
Sports and NFL being media and wrestling journalist, I'll put it in quotes, much different because there really is like no cheering, no, like you can't do, like you got to really be in that middle line of like, you can't show bias and stuff. We've been to wrestling events, we've hung out wrestling media events, people cheer, people have drinks and stuff. Like you can't be doing that when you're at like an NFL media game.
Yeah, and in wrestling, like there's enough room because it's sports and entertainment to where
Yeah.
anybody can cover this virtually any way that they want. If Joel wanted to start up a website called Wrestling Pizza and just interview people about their favorite pizza, well, good. He could do that, and he could get on honest to God media calls and get questions in about that. And some people would whine, but who cares? In football, it's a lot more serious than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got no interest in covering football like as a full-time thing or even a serious thing. In fact, the whole gimmick is that I don't know shit about football. I just started to watch it like 15 years ago, and I've always loved the Bengals. So. Common Bengals W on Twitter.
Sean, I gotta actually mention this because you said, everything that you get into, there it is. You find a way to monetize and make it. I do the same thing, and it can be the most frustrating experience in my life because I feel like sometimes I just can't just enjoy something.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know if you ever struggle with that. I don't know if anyone else here struggles with that, but like, it's a common thing that I personally have been thinking about a lot lately.
Well, I know Jeremy struggled with it because me, him, and Andrew were running every article on the site for a brief period, and we would like sarcastically troll each other if one of us took a lunch break and be like, "You part-timing bitch." And all of us were working
their schedule, bitch.
We were all going 60, 70 hours a week. And if somebody went and got some ramen noodles, it's like, not showing up to work, huh? Oh. Okay. But as we've grown as a website, I've learned to embrace those things a little bit better. With this, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, well, I find myself consuming every piece of national Bengals content that I can. And I watch certain Bengals shows and like, what do I want to do in my free time? I still want to talk about the Bengals. And that is how it happened with wrestling too. Like there were times when people acted real goddamn weird when I was like, okay, should I just quit this and work a normal job? And then I thought, okay, well, if I did that, if I worked at like an Amazon factory, I would come home after that and I would review wrestling and try to find out more about it because that's what I would want to do anyway. So I was like, okay, it's not a good idea to do that. With this, I have no hopes or aspirations or really anything more than to just talk about the Bengals whenever I feel it's convenient. Like me and Jeremy during the pandemic, we reviewed Last Dance, a few episodes of that. And then when it didn't work for us, we just stopped. We were just like, meh, whatever. That was fun. That's what I want to do with more stuff is just fun stuff. And I'm all right at talking. So yeah.
Allegedly. You can come on.
I'm not coming on
FNC
anything.
And talk about the Bengals if you would like.
The wrestling space has always been interesting to me in general when it comes to work and fun. Because I've always really wanted to be somewhat involved in the wrestling, whether you want to call it media or just reviewing or stuff like that. Yeah, I did my own thing with a couple of friends years back before Fightful even started. And then Fightful, you guys really, I think, took that passion and made me want to do something even more, which is why I was part of Cage Side for a little while, and then to have gotten to started really with Jeremy. I got to know you more, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, now we're really friendly, and then you made me a mod, and now I'm a mod, and then Joel, one day Sean needed a person to cover for Luis, and Joel suggested, hey, why don't you try it? And my first day, June 1st,
my birthday,
Mark's promo. Craziest super chat, humper chat day in history.
It was. I have PTSD. I hate to use that term because it's very dramatic, but anytime there's an AEW pay-per-view now, I don't look forward to it because of the MJF thing. And I remember All Out happened, and I was like, oh. And I even said to somebody, I'm like, I feel really dramatic saying I have PTSD, but I was scared to cover that. And I could not have possibly predicted how bad it would be. And keep in mind, those are the first two AEW pay-per-views I've stayed home for that I could have went to since like 2019. But thankfully, the last one happened, and it was relatively boring. But that was a hell of a day for you to just pop up there. My God.
Yeah, it was a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, my fire. That was fantastic.
Just a chat, literally, just going like this. But it was great, and I thank everyone, particularly Sean. I thank you for entrusting me with that, because that's
Yeah, of course.
that's a real honor. It really was.
I would like to think that you proved yourself to not be an absolute psychopath at this point. So
I hope so. I hope so. But I thank you very much.
Low.
I met Joel for the first time. He's the first person I met.
Sorry,
that sucks.
Yeah.
First Grand Slam last year. Hey, you know what? Joel's a great guy. I can't say anything bad about him.
No, you could, but I'd probably get a team of lawyers to suppress the information.
You can't use ours, so no, he doesn't.
That's okay. I've got plenty of lawyers that I can. I don't know any lawyers. Am I kidding?
I got to meet Kate at this year's Grand Slam.
We haven't met each other yet, have we?
No, we have not.
I think so. You're the only person here that I haven't met in person.
We will one day. We will one day. Yeah, but it's been. I am so honored to have been brought into the Fightful family in some fashion. To have the hits and misses show that I was mentioning earlier with Joel, and it's just great. It's been wonderful. So, as crappy as some of 2022 was, with losing my cat, losing my job, but getting my job back in some capacity, it's been pretty good. Been pretty good. So I'm very happy and thankful to have all of you guys.
Oh yeah. We're
Thanks,
thankful for you.
Drew. Yeah,
absolutely.
Pro Wrestling Podcast putting you over. Drew does good work.
Yeah, and then I got, speaking of Love Wrestling, and now I have Firmly AEW with JPJ over at Love Wrestling every week. So
heck yeah, man.
Where they only discuss MLW.
All right, Drew, do you want to plug anything? I'm gonna start kicking people off here. I got a family to feed.
Bye.
Sean's just gonna leave.
Wow. All right then. Well, yes, as I said, every Thursday at 10 a.m., Love Wrestling's Twitch, I do Firmly AEW with JPJ, and occasionally I do Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast with Bad Blood and Julian and Shane Husky after Raw and SmackDown. And I'm in, like I say, every week, I'm in Fightful chats, modding, and if you're a douchebag, like a certain stalker that was in Grapsities today.
Where was I?
Apparently the stalker.
A certain guy name starts with an R, has been bothering a person of ours, a very good friend of ours.
We'll fight them all.
Yeah.
And he can go F himself.
Not important.
No,
Yeah.
we don't need to. Yeah.
And I will ban you if you're a piece of shit.
That's right. Get him, Drew. Get him, Drew. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for this year. You sent kind words on my wedding day. You sent us a kind gift.
You sent kind words on mine. So thank you.
I appreciate it, Drew, and thank you for all that you do with Fightful, with modding and everything. And you're just a great human being, is Drew Nicholas. So if you just like great people in your life, follow Drew, support Drew, and everything that he does. And I hope 2023 and his personal continues to go upwards for you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Drew.
Right.
All right, let's see. Who else can I kick? Caden's been here the entire time. Caden, say some like parting words and stuff.
You guys can find me at Caden_FTW on Twitter. You can find me whenever I wake up in time for FMC, and I actually have
which is like never at this point.
Never.
Like
not right
this is
now.
why you don't get paid anything because you don't show up.
While I'm in Texas, it's an hour early, and I'm sleeping in on my breaks.
Not my problem.
I know. Oh, it's 100% my own thing. I like sleeping in. I decide to sleep in most of the time, anyways. I will be on True Heel Sports tomorrow for the NFL games. And whenever SP3 is okay with me being on True Heel Heat, I'm usually there doing watch-alongs because I enjoy the guys over there. I have fun.
Never
He could
let
be on
him
the-
on the show again.
He can be on the watch alongs. I'm never on the watch alongs. He can be on there.
That's fair. Never let him on your show, SP3. That's the bit. Just
Hey, he
kidding.
let me on the final battle review.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, if it's going to be on one, at least it's the C-level show.
I poured water all over myself because of Dax Harwood and a dog collar.
He did.
Yeah.
Caden, thank you for all that you do on Overbooked. I don't actually know what you do, but thank you. I'm going to bully you into making more shorts for the year because I do think those are very helpful to the channel, and I know we've gotten good responses on those. So, you want to get paid, Caden, make all these shorts for us. No, but thank you sincerely. You were just supporting like in the chat and everything, and then you reached out and you're like, hey, can I do this? I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And you started doing the shorts, and again, I thought those were really helpful and beneficial to the channel. And you've done some interviews that Sean is trying to take from me, like he takes everything else off of this channel. So I appreciate that. And then I think where we got something working in 2023 where you actually might make $1 or $2 off of this channel. So once we actually get that all finalized and actually have something to show with that, we'll talk more about that. But thank you, Caden, as much as I bully you and will continue to bully you, I do appreciate your hard work for the channel.
Yeah. Thank you guys for a great year.
All right, get out of here. Drew says, money's all great here. Thank you, Fightful family. Thank you, Drew. Much appreciated.
Appreciate you.
Drew's awesome.
Can I bully SP3 some more?
Why you want to bully me for? I showed up here.
You did. LeBron dropped 46 on his birthday. That's nice.
He did. We won. We won our last game. That's all. That's the only reason I showed up. I wouldn't have even clicked the link if we lost last night. I'm not going to click the link. I only take the abuse on Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. UK. I know that.
Oh my gosh.
I was in the UK.
You were stuck in the UK for like 3 months. Was it longer than that?
It was like 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 4 months. That was insane when you were always in the UK. You get a citizenship.
Hey, it's all good. I'm gonna go back and forth. We got a place out there now. My sister's going out there. She's going to Potter Studios for the new year. Yeah.
Fun. Nice.
She's a Potter mark.
Joel, who I know it's Joel because I don't use the channel, putting over Tag Talk without the Tag Talker showing up. I see Haley's in the chat. I know Kylie is not feeling well.
Yes.
So I do know Kylie.
I was bullying Kylie on Twitter to join us, and then this was a call out to Haley, who was in our chat.
Haley, come on board.
They don't need to join us. They're getting paid all this money regardless.
Oh, I know that.
They're smart.
They are smart. They're not showing up to work when they don't have to, and they still get paid. They're on that Brock Lesnar deal. I get it.
Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah, they got that merchandise, that WCW merchandise deal.
That's right. All you other fools actually showed up for some reason. I don't get why.
You're making too many analogies and references. I thought we were NXT here, so they're Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. That's what the Tag Talk duo are.
Yes.
Guy says, I want the return of an NXT review show with Sat and SP3 in 2023.
Yes, that was one. That's like a distant memory of my 2022 that I had an NXT review show on the Wrestle Talk podcast. It was here and then it was gone, kind of like Wrestling Daily.
I remember that.
So that's why I had to show up here because y'all find a role for me. That's why I'm a Roderick Strong of Overbooked. Y'all find something for me. Y'all want a niche show that ain't about what the channel's about? That's me. That's this guy. I'm the king of niche on Fightful Overbooked. You want a show about Degrassi? Find me and Steven Jensen. You want us to talk about some Mighty Ducks or My Brother and Me from Nickelodeon days? We are here for it. You want me and Jeremy to talk about the challenge or 90 Day Fiance or Love is Blind? We do it on FMC. I am Mr. Niche.
SP3. So a couple things off of that. But real quickly, Happy New Year. Happy New Year's, Ishak. I don't got who owns the Panthers now? David Tepper. He's blowing all his money on a losing team. I'd like to own the Panthers. I don't know what I'd do with him. I'd bring Steve Smith back. That would be my first order of business. Happy New Year's, A-Shock. SB3, a couple things. First, nice name change. Second, the wife got me a coffee mug with like 90s Nickelodeon cartoons on it. I don't have it in front of me.
If
but
you watch Newsworthy from this morning.
Yes, there you go. Watch Newsworthy. But it's got Rugrats, Angry Beavers, Hey Arnold on it. It's a very nice coffee mug. 2, possibly more importantly, I don't know if you remember this person, but you actually like look at the scoops and stuff after the shows. I'm pretty sure Love is Blind season 1, right? Do you remember Matt Thomas? He wasn't really on the show that much.
I think he was a part of when they were in the place.
Yeah, he was in the bubble. Yeah, he was in the bubble. So Jensen and I interviewed him because he's part of like chess boxing and everything.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he's a chess boxing world champion, which is what a sport chess boxing is. It kind of rules, actually. I've gotten into it. But he was on Love is Blind. Like Jensen's like very excited to talk about the chess boxing. I was like, I got to get some Love is Blind scoops. So I asked him about Love is Blind, SP3. And this interview, it airs on the next episode of The Spotlight. The behind the scenes stuff he's telling me about this show. Oh, just gold. I was in heaven learning about the behind the scenes of Love is Blind. The wife was so excited. She's like, that's all I care about. Whatever this chess boxing stuff. What were the Love is Blind scoops? Please tell me about this. No, very excited. We interviewed SP3. Did you know we interviewed Cara and Paulie on our fucking show?
That's like number one. I did about maybe 10 interviews this year, and number one of all of them was the only one that wasn't with the wrestler. It was Paulie and Cara Maria. Cara Maria, one of the greatest female challenge contestants of all.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Let's say
the greatest. Paulie, one of the best chess players and shit talkers in challenge history. Man, that was I gotta hand it to you, Sean, for making that happen. That was like one of my top highlights of 2022.
Yeah, that was a full Sean Ross Sapp making it happen, because he wonders why. He doesn't wonder, he gives me permission, but why like I run these videos through his Twitter feed, it's because he's got so many damn followers, and so one thing can just lead to another. So we had like Cara and Paulie in the headline of that episode, and so fans then saw it, tagged them, and then Paulie reached out to Sean, and Sean is like, who is this person? Why are they messaging me? Like, what do you want me to have them message you? I was like,
I remember that day in the message group.
Yes, I was
and
so excited.
Freaked.
Oh, I was so excited. I was like, yes, have him message me. Like, and so then Sean sends a group DM with Paula. Jesus, I can't speak. I don't know how I have this as a job with Paulie and myself, and we get things set up. And I remember messaging you and Cher, and I was like, I think I'm getting us an interview with Paulie and Cara. And like a minute had passed and you guys did not respond. And I was so irritated that it took you over a minute to respond to this DM. I was like, did you not read your messages? Like, it has been a full minute and you have not responded. Did you see what I just said? And then finally you saw your messages and you responded. And it was working it out and getting them and actually doing that. That was so much fun that we were able to pull that off. Definitely a highlight to interview them on the show. That was great. Do more great things with FMC in 2023.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely one of my highlights. That was just fun, and how different it is to interview a wrestler from a reality star. Boy, oh boy, I will say the reality star is so much more easier. They're so much more easier. They're not trying to be careful. All these wrestlers, man, I will say, one of my last interviews, I was really looking forward to them, but they were so careful with every answer that they gave me. And in comparison to Cara and Paulie, man, that was just like magic for someone who does interviews.
Jarrett Bailey is back, even though we're wrapping up. Hi, Jarrett Bailey. His internet connection sucks. I don't even know if he has headphones in.
No, he's absolutely not paying attention.
Why does Jarrett Bailey?
You took.
I just did not.
Why does Jarrett Bailey look like a prison mate in American?
He's attempting
History
to speak
X?
now. I don't even know if he Jarrett Bailey.
Why does Jarrett Bailey look like Jim Carrey and Me, Myself, and Irene?
Nice. Why does Jarrett Bailey's internet suck worse
His
than
internet's
whatever his favorite
awful.
teams are?
He's barely paying attention. He's
All right, well, we're gonna.
Here we
replace
go.
that.
An actual star is here to save this stream from
My
Tag Talk.
Oh,
Haley, how you doing,
Hi
Haley?
guys. Sorry, I
How
was
are
making
you?
nachos, but I had to come by and say hey.
How are you
Always
doing?
appreciate
How
it.
was your 2022, Haley?
It was great, and Kylie just texted me and she told me to give you guys all the love and hate were applicable. So, take that as you will.
We're balanced here.
Yes, very balanced. Very balanced. Haley, it's been great that you and Kylie have been part of the channel in 2022. Jarrett Bailey's trying to get back on. I'm not letting him back on. He fucked up his one opportunity. All right. It's been great that you've been part of the channel. I'm very sad that I feel like we've gone to like 2 shows together and have not actually like met each other. We were at AEW and we were sitting, I feel like pretty close to each other and didn't see each other. And then I don't think you were at the AIW show, the Gauntlet show, Gauntlet for the Gold show, but I know you go to AIW shows at the Tadmore, and we could easily meet each other there, and we just haven't. We probably live like 20 minutes away from each other.
I feel like it's like a bit at this point, but I remember the AEW show, and you were like, "Oh, I'm like 2 rows behind you. Like, just come say hi, whatever." And I was like, I was still like so new, and I was like, I don't want to go say hi. Like, I feel so weird, so I just didn't. And then you texted me after the show, and you were like, "Are you still here?" And I was like halfway home.
Just come say hi. So now I'll bring Jarrett Bailey back on. Maybe his shit will work. Okay. So I met Jarrett Bailey at the Pittsburgh AEW show, and we're sitting where the media and everything is.
Yeah.
And Jarrett, I don't even know where his original seats were, but I'm just like,
Not
just
there.
come sit with us. Yeah, like just come sit with us. So I just bring Jarrett to where we were sitting, and Jarrett just sits with us for the entire show. And I take Jarrett Bailey's wrestling virginity on that night.
So Jarrett was your Caden.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but people like Jarrett.
Yeah, people do like Jarrett. That is.
I'm gonna also bring on someone I like. I like
Jeff Hawkins.
Let's hope that this works.
It's sort of
something
working.
works.
No, I'm having some real lag issues for some reason. I think.
Oh yeah, no, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, just wanted to say hi. Love the work that you guys do. I have fun for the few videos that I get to do for the site. So keep doing what you do.
I owe you videos, Jeff Hawkins.
Yeah.
But I like you.
Thank
Jeff,
you.
you are welcome to do anything you want on this channel. For some reason, you speak to Joel Pearl and not me, and that's your first mistake. If you speak to me, I'll let you do anything because I don't care.
You're a busy man, though. Like you do.
Never too busy for you.
I keep telling him.
I love that we have a Roddy Strong now of the site, and I'm the Brock Lesnar of the site for some reason. So
Big time, nice. You're big timing us, nice.
No. I look. I just want Denise Salcedo money. That's all I want.
Don't we all?
Don't we all?
Yeah. Don't we all want Denise? I don't want Denise Salcedo's schedule to get Denise Salcedo money, though.
I got Denise Salcedo's schedule, and I don't got her money.
That's fair. That's fair.
My
actual
does about 900 shows. That is very accurate.
My actual reason is I just can't think of a video that people would want to watch for the most part.
So we just do shit that I don't know if people are watching, but just have fun and just go with it.
My other podcasting territories are already going downhill, so why not bring Fightful down too again?
No, you would not. I've said this before to you, and I will say this again for any new audience. Shake Them Ropes was one of the first wrestling podcasts that I listened to religiously. And when I finally got to do a stream with Jeff Hawkins, I was so excited because that and Brian, oh my God, now I feel terrible that I forgot his name. I'm pretty sure it was Between the Ropes. Brian, somebody tell me his last name.
Humble.
Danielson.
You guys are making me look very stupid, more stupid than I already look.
Did you mean Brian? First name Kobe?
Not at all. Did not mean that at all. Now I gotta look it up.
Alvarez?
Brian Fritz. Brian
Myers?
Fritz. Fritz. Between the Ropes. Brian Fritz. I love that podcast as well. So, but yeah, actually like getting to know Jeff Hawkins and becoming, I guess, friends with him. I feel like everybody dislikes me, but maybe not. But actually working with Jeff Hawkins in some capacity has been very awesome. Jeff, I legitimately, like, if you want to do something on this channel, let me know. We'll figure something out.
Okay. Yeah, no, I am down with that, especially if it deals with something in the 80s wrestling or whatever, you know.
That is completely fine.
You know,
I had such a blast doing stuff with Jeff when we were doing when we had some time.
we did 2 videos. We did the dog chain match one, and what was the other one that we did?
Dusty, we did the boot.
The boot, Dusty and the boot. We were supposed to do a history of war games.
Yes,
And
then
we never got going.
Yeah, because I moved and then it was a whole, the whole thing. But I tell you, like, I love sitting down with Jeff because you are just this beacon of knowledge when it comes to 80s wrestling and just any classic wrestling of any kind. And I think people really enjoy hearing that. And I am not that. So to have that banter with you is so much fun. I always enjoy it.
People on Twitter like to mock, how old I am now, and it's true.
Well, quit being- Bam.
Being old, yeah.
But yeah, no, and I'm looking to go more into it because God, it looks like every company is kind of taking a little bit of a downturn in storytelling. So it's like, well, what do I have in my archives that I can watch that'll bring me joy? That's not Uncle Howdy.
You leave Cameron Grimes alone.
That is not Cameron Grimes.
Legitimate, like 80s stuff, completely fine with me. When Will Washington messaged me this year and was like, hey, people want me to like talk about Dynamite, like, can I do this on Overbooked? Like, is there space? And I'm like, you are Will Washington, you can do whatever the hell you want on this channel. And then Sean calls him up to the main roster where Tag Talk is going to be in 2023. So you are Jeff Hawkins. I have so much respect and love and admiration for you and all the times that I got to listen to Shake Them Ropes when I was younger. I'm sorry if I am dating you now. But when I actually listened to wrestling podcasts for fun and not to transcribe 3 million words on them, like, you got me through like just so much like tough times.
When Rob McCarran still cared,
So like, yes, if you want to do something, let me know. You're more than welcome to.
You got a deal.
Happy to
I mean, and I plan on being on Sean Ross Sapp's Bengals podcast too a few times.
That sounds awesome.
Because I've been a Bengals fan forever, and we both don't know much, so it's great. A little tag team stuff, a little 80s stuff. Yeah, I'll get to. I gotta get to churning though. That's the thing is just getting the time to do it all. But no, and you guys, I love everything on Fightful Overbooked. I just love the idea of it. To be honest with you, it's like, yeah, go create your own territory if there's not one available for you. So yeah, I love it.
Well, I'll tell the story of all of that here shortly. I have stuff that I've not talked about through this entire year. I'm gonna tell some stories here after I keep booting people. But yes, let me know, Jeff. I will tell what I've kind of told everybody. Look, the channel ain't like the most profitable thing in the world. It's very hard to get profitable and make a lot of money on YouTube. That's why I have so much respect for Denise Salcedo and what she's been able to do. But I was very proud and happy that over the past few months, I've been able to start paying the contributors who contribute on Fightful Overbooked. I'm very happy with that. And I'm in a good enough spot with everything that I do that I'm just happy to be able to do that. And, hopefully in 2023, that'll continue to rise. And guys, if you're in the chat right now, leave super chats because all that money does go to our great contributors. So I don't see any of it. Joel Pearl definitely ain't seeing any of it. It will go to our great contributors like SP3 and like Haley and Kylie. And that's it.
And Tim.
Now, and look, shout out to they're not here again. Kieran is he's going to all of these Japan shows over the next week. And Matt
just decided out of nowhere.
Yeah. Madman. Absolute madman.
It was easy for him. He's not too far.
He just put out a tweet like, someone tell me not to go. And he was like,
nobody did. Everybody's like, no, you should definitely go.
That's what happens when you tweet something and then a second later just say, all right, I'm going.
Yeah. but New Japan Bread Club with Kieran and Matt, I wanted to do a New Japan show. I wanted it on this channel, and I just kind of put out a cold call of like, hey, anybody want to do this? Kieran was somebody I had in mind to do it. I just didn't know what his schedule was because he does wrestling, he does a bunch of other stuff as well. And shout out to SB3. I know you were on the wrestling, the New Japan show with Hiromu. So yeah, I knew Kieran was doing all that. I didn't know. But he reached out and he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm doing it. And then Kate was the one who actually recommended Matt or told Matt to reach out. But Kate put over Matt from Shining Wizards podcast. It was like, hey, like, if you guys are like willing to do this together, you know, let me know and we'll figure something out. And they were willing to work together. And, you know, they've done New Japan shows more or less bi-weekly for us. There's been some when New Japan's been down. They haven't done shows, but for the most part, bi-weekly stuff. They've gotten Kevin Kelly on the show. Francisca Akira was just on the show. Gideon Gray, Clark Connors. Like they've gotten New Japan people on the podcast. They just did a big Wrestle Kingdom preview. Everyone go check that out. It's up on this site right here. But Kevin Kelly was on that show for the big Wrestle Kingdom preview. And they do just great work covering New Japan. If you're trying to get into New Japan, they do a great job catching you up. If you're like a hardcore New Japan fan, like they do a great job like diving deep into stuff that you will appreciate. So I was really happy that show got on this channel and is part of this channel and is really doing well on this channel. So shout out.
Well, if you don't do what Kate says, she breaks your legs.
That's very true. Kate will threaten you and just beat you down.
By the way, you know that Will Washington wasn't the only person who got called away from Overbooked, who was picked up by Overbooked.
I mean, who else?
Scott.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. He's doing the Joshi stuff.
That's right. He started by doing stuff on Overbooked, and it was so popular and so well received that Sean was like, hey, start doing a show on Select. So he's going to be doing basically a Japanese version of The Weekender, a Japanese wrestling version of The Weekender, which is wild. And he's getting all of these interviews, and it started with an email that he sent to Sean, and then the conversations that ensued between Jeremy and myself and Scott, and he's another one. So again, like the proof is in the pudding that we're really lucky that a lot of these people are moving upward and onward and seeing success in this field. It's really cool.
It's not me.
No, you're
Roger
fine.
Strong.
I'm SB3. I'm not gonna lie. I'm keeping you until this thing goes completely down because I cannot have
I'm
you.
here for it. I'm proud to be Roger Strong. Don't get me wrong.
I'm here to take this motherfucker.
Yeah. Joel, I'm trying to get rid of. That's the call up of like, can you just like take him, please?
Yeah, failing upward. That's how I got the Impact Post show.
Just please just take this person. SB3 is like Carmelo Hayes of like, no, you sure you want him? Like, no, we need him down here. I think we definitely need him down here.
He can teach the people.
Pro Wrestling.
I'm gonna call it an afternoon, but you guys are great. I'll continue to listen.
Thank you, Jeff.
Talk to y'all later.
Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Again,
Later,
message
Jeff.
me. We'll figure something out.
And I might even bring Joel in on this because he's
Don't do that.
needy.
Don't do that.
I am needy. It's true. I need a hug.
Don't do that.
Jeff, come here.
Thank you, Jeff. Pro Wrestling Podcast gives us another $20. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Awesome.
Much appreciated. Luis says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Luis. Hope 2023 is good for you. A couple of things here that I not skipped over, but MK ASAP says SP3 has Jeremy met Jimmy Macram. That would be an epic podcast. I don't know. I haven't met this person.
That's my friend that I do AEW Dynamite reviews on the Trio Heat YouTube channel with. He stopped watching wrestling like 2005, 2004, and then started watching wrestling with AEW. So he just watches AEW and reviews it on our channel, and he hates Tony Khan. And we literally had to get a disclaimer for him because he says such bad things that we had to have one of our subscribers make a disclaimer to say the thoughts and comments of Jimmy Macram are not the thoughts and comments of True Hill Heat YouTube channel and their contributors.
He is your sour graps guy.
Yes, he would be the Earth 2 black version of Alex Pulaski. Yes.
I was going to pitch to Sean doing an AEW sour graph show on Select just to see
We're here.
And now
Come on, Joel.
I'm gonna send people.
I'm gonna send you a link, and that's the audition tape.
I love it.
I just started following him on Twitter. I found him on Twitter. I just started following him. This sounds tremendous because Sat Yang, I knew about, and then I did Greg Cherry's show this year with him. He's the fucking best. That guy's tremendous.
Love Sat Yang.
He
so
rules.
happy for him. Yes, Sat is like one of the most positive, friendly, funny individuals that I've met doing this. So proud of him. He's doing the news videos over at Wrestle Talk now. He does the podcast every Saturday. Big things for Sam. I'm so happy for him. And he always says, "Oh, you're the one that got me out my shell." I was like, "No, I just told you to just stop trying to be scared." I just told you just be you, and that's what he's doing. And I'm so happy for him.
He's the absolute best. Him and I talk on like a decent regular basis now just because I love him. And he got Adam Blompier to tell my sister Merry Christmas just because she loves No Rose Barred. So Adam like emailed me a video. He's like, "Oh, hey, Sat said that your sister is a fan of the channel." I was like, "Holy shit, Sat, you're the..." It was a nice little gesture. I appreciated it.
Super says, "Great 2022 to a greater 2023 for Overbooked." We're hoping. Jarrett, say some final words here before I kick you off. Do you have your name tattooed on your arm? Like, do you forget your last name?
This is in case I get like kidnapped and murdered and they like acid off my fingerprints. At least you can identify me somehow. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, I do football stuff. If you're into that, go follow me on Twitter. It's at JBaileyNFL. Hi, Haley. It's nice to see you in person. You should see.
I mean, we've done this before. This is like our second time. It was like a year ago, yeah.
A while ago. You should see Haley and I's DMs on Twitter. It's just me simping over Jamie Hayter.
It's really something.
Jarrett will sadly be part of the channel moving forward as we do our betting show for big events. I'm trying to get a bunch of betting money because it's legal in Ohio starting tomorrow, and I want betting websites to pay me so I can blow it all on Joel Embiid overs and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander overs and unders and things like that.
The channel gets like a little betonline.ag sponsorship.
I'm working here, Jarrett. I'd like to get us some sponsorships.
That'd be cool. What happened? I'm manifesting 23, Jeremy.
We're trying. So Jarrett and I are going to be doing that for all the big events, doing betting. We have our New Japan betting preview show up.
Yeah, go watch that.
Wants to go check that out. All right.
Before you kick me though, I am grateful for all of you, even Joel Pearl, who, by the way, fuck you, Joel Pearl. That last night pissed me off. I thought that Charlotte Flair legitimately came out to fucking Dragula by Rob Zombie because I don't want back down. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like,
"Not." By the way,
might have just been fucking with me in specific, and I was so pissed off.
You're not the only one that I got with that because I was listening to Steven Larson doing their post show for SmackDown, and they were like, Sean Ross Sapp or someone from Fightful posted that it was a Dragula remix, and I was like,
dude, as soon as I saw that, I was like, "You son of a bitch."
Is it not though? You could just toss the vocals to Dragula over that remix, and it's just perfect.
It was funny, but no, I do appreciate all of you for like the last year and a half for just taking, this football dude who likes wrestling and putting me on shit like this. It is very cool for me, and I appreciate it. So yeah, looking forward to doing more with all of you. And Jeremy, we're doing betting stuff. It'll be fun. I'm very much looking forward to doing that with you.
Will be very fun. I look forward to it as well, Jarrett. I guess I put you over on your podcast, and I mean, I was the one who reached out to you with this idea.
It was like that. By the way, and if you haven't seen that episode of my No Note show with Jeremy, it's just like 20 minutes of him telling me how great I am. I didn't prompt him to do that. He just kind of went
I'm nice. Very mean to everybody, but also I'm Sammy Sweetheart. I'm the sweetest bitch you'll ever know. I'm very mean to everyone, but they keep down kind into everyone.
That popped me so much.
I feel like I recognize that name. I just can't remember where it's from.
Oh, you don't fucking know what AIM is. Get out of here. Get out of here.
That was 2009. Will you stop?
Get Jarrett Bailey out of here. That was one of our best. That was one of our best shows when we had to explain like AIM and stuff to Jarrett Bailey, SP3. That was tremendous.
I will never forget that. I literally was talking to the missus about that. Like, I literally did this podcast. I explained to him what AIM was. He was like, "What?" I mean, on FMC this week, I explained to y'all what local hookups and all these other dating websites of the early 2000s were.
It's very true. Very true. Joel, do you have to run?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
having a good laugh.
I didn't know if the Mrs. Joel Pearl was calling you.
No,
you
I'm watching just in case. I'm also watching my kid like roll around in his crib, and I think he's eating the bars of his crib right now. Hungry bitch.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start wrapping up a little bit because I do have the wife and the kids who would probably like dinner at some point. As we wind down our 2022. Haley, let me say nice things about you and Kyle, even though I've been putting you guys over.
You've said enough.
I have to say more nice things because again, when stuff changed over with the channel and everything, I wanted just different contributors and I wanted to spotlight different people and everything. And stuff happened, and you and Kylie were just like, "Hey, like, are we good with everything?" And I was like, "Yes." Like, I don't care what you guys do. I feel like I've made that very clear to everybody on this show. Like, I don't care what you do. Just don't fuck up and don't say anything that's going to get everybody in trouble or anything like that. Yeah, I don't care what you guys do. Like, let me know what you're thinking and we'll figure something out. Then a couple weeks later, we're like, "Hey, what about the show Tag Talk? We want to like talk about tag team wrestling." It's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Like, do you want to do it live? Do you want to do it recorded? Like with schedules, think it works better recorded." It's like, "All right, cool. Like, if you need any help, if you want to interview wrestlers, tag teams, whatever you want to do, just let us know." And you guys have consistently produced every single week. And then just recently, schedules changed around and everything. And like, we kind of just had a live spot open up on Monday because SP3 and I could move to Tuesday and it not be that big of a deal. And I was like, "Hey, do you guys want like this live spot on Monday?" Because live is obviously better than pre-recorded for the most part. So, and fortunately it worked with y'all's schedule as well. And I'm very happy to have you guys live every Monday. And SP3, thank you for accommodating that schedule as well. But very happy to have you guys live Monday. And like, my biggest thing is just like communication. And I tell both of you that all the time. I'm just like, if you can't do a show, I don't care. Shit happens. It's life. I get it. Just let me know so I can like properly move things around, make sure there's like some type of video that goes up, or just inform people. And without a doubt, you guys are always day before like, "Hey, something came up. Don't know if we're going to do a show. You know, maybe we can do something later in the week." And I'm just like, "Yeah, if you have time later in the week, let me know. We'll figure something out. We'll make accommodations however we can." And you guys have just always been great in communicating with me. And I appreciate that. And so I appreciate, again, everything you and Kylie do for the channel. And, you know, my favorite bit is having the Tag Talk background on FNC every week. but again, thank you. Thank you guys.
Changed it live earlier, and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Oh yes, I changed it. Yeah, I noticed. Like, it took me a second. I was like, "Wait a second, I don't like this background. No, where's the Tag Talk background?" No, it's great. Like, yeah, I appreciate all you guys do for the channel, and yeah, just thank you.
And thank you guys. I mean, we say it all the time, but we really do appreciate everybody at Fightful, and you know, Jeremy, Joel, both of you specifically. You've done a lot for the both of us, and I don't think we could ever like properly repay that, but we try by showing up and doing what we can, and we just really appreciate and love you guys.
That's repayment enough.
Yes,
you guys
it really is. It really is.
And fun, and the content is so good. That's all you got to do, and I think it's amazing that y'all come and bring your A game each time.
This is so wholesome.
Sometimes when we have people we like, we talk nicely. The rest of the time, it's like everyone go suck.
But yes, thank you, Haley. Text Kylie, Messenger, tell her thank you for everything. And yeah, just I look forward to what you guys are going to do in 2023, because both of you work so hard, not only on Tag Talk, but the other projects that you have as well. And I know you guys just always have like ideas and are always thinking. And I look forward to what you guys do in 2023. And as I always say, like, however we can help, let us know, and we will do what we can to help you out.
Thank you guys.
Haley, enjoy your 2023. Enjoy your New Year's Eve. Have a good night. Anything else you would like to plug, say? Go ahead.
No, I just want to wish everybody that's watching and all of you guys a happy new year. You know, I appreciate everybody that watches all the content on Fightful Overbooked. You guys are great. You know, we couldn't do any of what we do without everybody that watches and supports and gives super chats and all that kind of stuff. So I just appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Haley. Enjoy your night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
All right. I'm going to leave you three. I guess I'm the third person. I'll leave you two on, assuming you got...
talking about yourself in the third person?
Yeah, talk about
well, now that would be the fifth person because you included yourself in a crew of three.
I didn't know if I was going to talk about this, but I think I'm going to talk about this. So I've seen people in the chat mention our pals Joseph, O'Neill, the people from Late Night Grin. Yeah, for those who don't know, this used to be the Distraction channel. For those that don't know, the Distraction was a show I did with Joe Holbert, Joseph, for a few years, and then just kind of ended. And now he's doing his own thing. And go over there, support them, latenightgrin.com. Support everything they do. But in January, I'm gonna get. Nobody's getting buried.
I'm gonna get granular.
I don't know what that means. What is that? I'm gonna get granular. What does that mean?
That's the Jeff Jarrett thing, where he's like, dig deep. He wants to go deep. He wants to go deep into his notes. You want to get granular, Kanye? Want to get granular with this?
So this is stuff that like I really have not talked about all year because I didn't feel the need to talk about it. But as like I can't not talk about it on a stream that is wrapping up 2022 because it was a huge part of my life in 2022, even though it might not seem like it because we did change this to the Overbooked channel like within 2 weeks of January. So it was legitimately only the Distraction channel for like 2 weeks before we changed everything over. But let's go back to 365 days ago. Okay. We're going to go back an entire year when we were on this stream, and we did this stream legitimately 5 minutes after I posted that Big Swole article, Joel. Like it was because I think I delayed doing the stream because I was finishing up that transcription and that article and everything.
I think you're right. I'm trying to remember. I think you're right.
So if you know the Big Swole article, you know it. So we did that, and then Tony Khan did his tweet of it, right? People might know the tweet. They might not. They might not know the tweet. Regardless, that was a stressful like week because it's an article that I wrote. It got a lot of attention for obvious reasons, and it's a lot of stuff happened with the fallout on that, and some of it was my fault on like the way that I wrote it. I should have put more clarifiers in there. Some of it wasn't completely my fault because it was just it was a situation. That's why, not the situation of Overbooked like SB3. It was a situation, and like I was very worried about that fallout. I was very just things that I were said, things that happened. I was very worried about it. I truthfully did not know like if I would just want to continue writing about wrestling because of like how much like because of Tony Khan's reaction. And because of Tony, I'm glad you're still here, SB3, because I could not do this full screen. Because of Tony Khan's reaction to it and like just some other stuff, like I'm just like, this doesn't feel worth it to write these headlines, to write these articles, if like this is how people are going to take it. It doesn't feel worth it that like now I'm under this big of a microscope that where like I don't feel that I did anything wrong. In some instance, again, my writing could have been better on that. I fully own up to that. I'm not going to get into a lot of that stuff, but like, that's where I was because of all of that stuff. And then a few days later, like this was my thought. I distinctly remember having a conversation with Chris Mueller and just being like very worried about like the fallout of this. And I'm like, I just don't know if this is worth this, Chris. Like, I'm just scared. Like, and I don't think I want to do this anymore. A few days later, Joseph messages me and he's like, hey, I think I want to do like my own thing. Like, it's nothing against you or anything. Like, I just don't know if I want to be part of Fightful anymore. And we talked about stuff and keep that between us. And, but the main point is like, he didn't want to do the show anymore. And okay. Like I thought it sucked because I always envisioned, us just doing that show forever. Honestly, like it was the highlight of my week, but we were in two different positions and I understand that he wanted to do more like content and videos and stuff. And the majority of my money and focus comes on the writing side and stuff. So I have to put a lot into that and just didn't always have time to dedicate to videos and content and things like that. So we were unfortunately in two different pages on that. I think he says this before. If I'll say this now, like, I wish we would have talked about it more. I wish we could have come to some type of understanding and figured it out. But he seemed pretty set on just not wanting to be part of Fightful and wanting to do his own thing and betting on himself, which is cool, understandable. Like, and he continues to do great. I've always thought extremely highly of Joseph, and that's why I wanted to do the show with him. That's why I wanted to do, again, that show for the rest of my life with him, because it was so much fun. And like everything we did, I had so much fun. But when he left, that's when it became, right, he going to do his own thing. And I'm thinking like, well, I don't have the weekly distraction show anymore. Now I've got this channel that I had certain ideas for it that unfortunately never came to fruition because my life changed big time in December. And like December was just personally like a complete whirlwind for me. And then the stuff with January, like the start of January, unfortunately, just the stuff that I thought in my head, one, I wish I would have communicated them better. And two, like, it just never came to fruition because he wanted to do his own thing. So I was now left with a channel that could not be the distraction channel because it was no longer the distraction. And I had to figure out what that was going to be, after everything. I will say this. I realize I'm very blessed with this job. I work very hard, but I realize I'm very blessed to just cover professional wrestling and make a full-time living out of it. I was ready to quit in January. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with my life. But after that whole January, I had the fallout with the Big Swole article, losing the distraction, some other stuff, some comments from other people. I was just like, none of this feels worth it. It doesn't feel worth it to write articles and be under this microscope. I didn't think my content was any good at this point, and I still struggle with that. But like, I was just like, I don't know what my content's going to be. I don't know what kind of show I'm going to do. I just like, I didn't think anything was good. I thought the writing sucked. I thought the show sucked. The content sucked. And I was just like, what's the point right now? And I was like 99% sure I was just going to be like, all right, fuck it. I'm done. Like none of it's worth it anymore. I didn't feel like I had anything at that point. I didn't feel like anything was worth it. And I was just ready to be done. Fortunately, my wife was like, well, you suck at everything else, so don't do that. No, she didn't say that. I had great conversations with her, and she was, we finally just figured it all out. Joel was another person I talked to a lot, and Sean was a person I talked to a lot of like this is how I'm feeling. What are we thinking here? Like, what can we do? And everyone was very, she literally just texted me, what the hell? So she's listening as I bury her. We had productive, we had productive conversations, but like, I was ready to just like quit, and I didn't. We were able to change things with Overbooked, turn it into that. And I still struggled for the longest time, and I still struggle to this day of like what this channel is like, needs to be, supposed to be, like what do people want out of it. And like, my original purpose when I started to think of things was like, I just want different creators just like doing different stuff and like just having fun with it. And I think we've, you know, slowly but surely like really gotten there. And I appreciate like just all the people who have contributed to Overbooked. And I'm very happy that I'm able to pay something to all the contributors of Overbooked. I wish it was more. I always wish it was more. And I hope that we continue to keep growing and it can be more in 2023. But like, I'm really happy with just how much people have been able to just find a space to create. Now when Jeff Hawkins was on, it's like, dude, if you want to do something, just let me know. Like, I like people who just want to create and want to do stuff and just want to have fun with stuff. And I realize that sucks when you might not get anything for it. And that's why I want to try to make sure like you get something. And again, I apologize to these people that it's not more, because I wish I could just pay everybody like $100 to do these episodes and make it really worthwhile. Unfortunately, that's just not the position that we're in, but I hope we can continue to grow and be into just higher positions. So I'm super thankful. I said it at the top of the show when SP3 first joined, is like, SP3 is one of the first people that I reached out to of like, I want to do a show. I don't really want to talk about wrestling. I've always enjoyed doing shows with you. Like, you just want to do a show that's not wrestling. It's going to largely be basketball, but we can talk about other shit. And you're like, yes, let's do it. And on top of like that, you've just always been super accommodating of like, if Fridays now, like I can't do because personal life changed. So can we do Mondays? Like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well now Tag Talk needs to be live. Can we do Tuesdays? Like, yep. You know, when AEW pay-per-views were on Sundays and they'd go to like 5 a.m, we were always like, hey, can we do Tuesdays? Because, you know, we've just kind of been up for a long time. So you've always been very accommodating of changing the schedules. And I've had so much fun with that show with you and with Share Delaware. The Spotlight was a show that I could not do the distraction again. Like that's just something that what am I supposed to do? That was something that we created. It was a lot of fun, and I thought it was something special. But I couldn't do like I really didn't feel like I could be that version of myself for the longest time. I just felt like, oh, this silly person who does like bits and is sarcastic and everything. Like, I didn't feel I could be that person because I just thought that people would just always think of the distraction when I was that person. And so I felt I had to take like a more straightforward, serious tone. Like, I really lost myself in January with everything. Like, I didn't know who I was as far as like creating content, writing, or video. I didn't think I could be that person anymore. And sometimes I still kind of feel weird about it. Is like, oh, are people going to think it's too much of this? And it's just a weird, I'm in my own head about things. But like, my goal when it came to the Spotlight was like, I want to talk about wrestling, obviously. But I want to just try to cover more stuff. I want to highlight more stuff. And this was where I was with writing as well. Is like, one of the things I pride myself when it comes to writing is I'm trying to cover interviews that like you maybe haven't heard of. I'm trying to cover like people like I just did the interview with the cameraman who got attacked by Bray Wyatt, JT Energy. Like, he gave this kayfabe response, but like it was with a podcast. I think it was Toned in Entertainment. Like, I don't know if people have heard of this podcast. I hadn't heard of this podcast until they got this person on there. I don't know if people knew it was JT Energy. The guy Exodus Prime, who is just on AEW Dark. It's like, okay, are people like seeking out podcasts from Exodus? Like, let me listen to an Exodus Prime interview on a podcast with like 20 views. Like, I don't know. People probably aren't looking for that stuff, but that's the stuff that like I like looking for, because I know that's largely not going to get covered. Everyone's going to cover After the Bell. Everyone's going to cover Unrestricted. Please pay me to transcribe those podcasts. Everyone's going to cover, Renee's podcast, Jericho's podcast. Like, those are always going to get covered and stuff. But one of the things I prided myself on was like finding the more obscure stuff that maybe people aren't looking for because they're not in this space like I am. Like, they're not diving into it like I am. So, and that's what I wanted to do with the next podcast that I thought of, which was the Spotlight. I was like, all right, like we talk AEW, we talk WWE. Let's talk about like New Japan stuff. Let's talk about Impact. If something cool happens in MLW, the indies, like let's really talk about like the indies and everything. Like let's do that. Like let's focus on that. And Steven Jensen was the easy person to do this with because he already had the Weekender on Fightful Select. He watches just so much wrestling and everything. And I was like, here's what I'm thinking. You know, what, like, are you down to do this? And again, I wanted it to be different. Like I really wanted to differentiate it from the distraction as well. Cause I just didn't think I could do something like that again, because I didn't want people to compare it. And I was very worried about that when the spotlight started. It's like, oh, people are going to think it's this, but it's not this. Like there's just going to be comparisons. And like, I couldn't really escape that to start, but like, I wanted to make sure that the content was different enough where it's like, well, no, this is not the distraction. That's not happening. That's never going to happen unless Joseph and I come together again, because that's what the distraction is. I need to do something different than that. And so that's when the spotlight started. And look, I'm not always happy with how I am on that show. If I'm being honest, like I'm not happy in that, like Steven Jensen is so good and so in depth on there that like, I don't always know like what I bring on that show. And this is early on, like now, as we've gotten more comfortable and stuff, like I feel like we're much better and I'm much better. And we found a really good rhythm with everything. Those early shows, I don't really like, and I don't like because I am just so lost in my own head that I just don't think they're that great. And that's totally on me. I still like the concept. I always like the concept. I like that we were able to interview different content creators. One, it's helped me make more friends in this space. Like Ella J has been a good friend. Samira has been a good friend. And these are just people that like, I recognize their hard work. And so I reached out to them and I was like, hey, do you want to come on the show and just like talk about stuff? And like, just talk about your, content creation and stuff. And they were very cool about it. And like, we really hadn't had conversations before this. So like, I like talking to other content creators and hearing their story and their journey and stuff, because it's really fun. It's really fun to just hear their journeys and everything. And then Jensen was the one of like, hey, what about like getting independent wrestlers and stuff? And like, he gets, again, like 95% of those guys. And like, that's been cool because Jameson Ryan and Diamond Sheik, now they run Championship District Wrestling. They're on like monthly. Jensen's doing commentary work for them, which is awesome. They've invited me down to do shows and do like, if I want to do like interviews, I was like, I want to get punched. Like, I'll take a bump. I'll be fine. Like it's really cool to like have a relationship and a friendship with them. Fodder, who we just had on and everything, like he was really friendly, and he was like super appreciative and everything. So he's my first like real big like wrestling podcast interview, and like that was really cool. And like when I wrote an article on his being at AEW Dark and stuff, he was like, oh man, that was so cool, like you covered that. And to see it on the website, and I saw like other people pick it up and everything, and like Dan the Dad was appreciative of stuff. Like that's really cool to see these indie wrestlers who, maybe you don't know them, maybe you do know them, I don't know, but to see their appreciation for the things we do. And I like that we are able to spotlight like people like that. Like there's a million podcasts that are going to talk about AEW and WWE, right? Like that's what gets the clicks. That's what gets coverage. Everybody's covering that stuff. I'm really proud that we are able to highlight independent wrestling in the way that we do, and independent wrestlers in the way that we do. So I've become more proud of the show as I just sort of realize what my contribution are to this space, because for the longest time, I really just only looked at myself as like, I'm just like part of the distraction. And I just do like silly bits and wacky ideas and whatnot. And like, I'm not really contributing anything else. And now I've realized like, all right, I do have other contributions to make to this space. And it's appreciated by wrestlers and some of my peers as well. Like a lot of other podcasts reach out to me and thank me for like writing articles on their interviews and stuff. Like I've made good friends with Adrian Martinez, who does show in Vegas. He always sends me stuff. I said this on Newsworthy this week. Matt Kuhn sent me the Dax Harwood podcast earlier, so I could get that out there in early. Like it's cool that like I do feel valued by the majority of my peers and some of the wrestlers as well who take notice of what we're doing. But yeah, for like the first half of the year, I didn't think I had any value. I really didn't know who I was. I really didn't know like what I was doing. And there's some stuff I will say, like, I wish I would have just done better. I wish I would have contributed in certain areas more when it comes to Overbooked. Like somebody mentioned, I think it was MKSP, bring back Pillar to Post. I love Pillar to Post. I thought it was really fun. I got to bury SP3 all the time.
I
that was
nuked
really
it.
Fun.
It ended after I hosted the show. I nuked it.
Best episode ever.
It
didn't get any better after that. That's all. That's why we finished it.
It peaked.
We got up before we didn't want to jump the shark.
The issue with Pillar to Post is twofold, really. One was like schedules, like just trying to get people to get 4 people on there. It became difficult. Like I do think as like a monthly thing, I think it could work as a monthly thing. I was trying to do it every 2 weeks. And then it became tough with schedules of just like, all right, who should I bring on? Like, can they do it at this time? So scheduling became tough. Maybe in 2023, if I can make it a monthly thing, I actually think it's a good idea because I had fun with that. And I don't want anybody to get burned out and stuff. And I started to feel people were like getting burned out being on that show too. So like you're fine, MKS. ASP, I guess. But like, yeah, scheduling, burning out and everything. I don't want anybody to get burned out. Like, oh, I don't want to like do this show because I just did it a week ago or whatever. So if I think monthly, I think it actually could work and could be really fun. The other issue is just more on me of like, and I want to give a shout out to Haley because I really appreciated the message she posted on Twitter of thanking me for just everything in 2022. And like, not only like, does he contribute with writing, but the running the channel and like family life as well as like, I got a lot of shit to do. Like I don't say this as like, oh, nobody's doing anything. It's legit. Like, I don't think sometimes people understand like how much the writing like consumes me and burns me out mentally. Like listening to all the different podcasts that I listen to, transcribing all the stuff that I transcribe, like the stuff, like the stuff you see on the site is one thing, but then when Sean has a big interview, like Will Ospreay, like I'm transcribing that like live as it's happening. The Tony Khan interview with Grapsody, like I'm transcribing that live as it's like happening. And like it was like 3,000 words from Tony Khan. Will Ospreay was like 2,500. Jay White was like 2,500. Rocky Romero, I don't know if I just spoiled that Sean's doing an interview with Rocky Romero.
He's talked about it.
Okay, good. That one was a lot of words. Like it's a lot of words to like transcribe this stuff. And when you were as locked in as I am, when you take it, like I take this very serious. Like I want Fightful to succeed above everything. Like I don't like when we don't have stuff on the website. Like I take it very serious of like, I want us to be the best website out there. I want us to cover as much as we can. I want us to get out there everything that we can. And when you are locked in, like I am, like sometimes you just get burnt out trying to do other content. And I think that definitely happened with like Pillar to Post. It happened with like a lot of stuff that I would do. And like, I like doing videos. I think it is very fun for me. I like talking to different people and I like just doing shows with my friends as well. But there's sometimes where it's like, I'm working all day. Like I get up at 6 with the kids and like, I'm kind of just like starting at 6:30 and by like, and I don't like half-ass shit. I don't like, oh, okay, I'll just sit here for like 30 minutes and do nothing. Like I got probably like 10 posts done by like 9:30. and I'm just kind of over the day, and it's only like 9:30. Like the day's just like getting started at this point. And so then when I gotta like do a podcast at like 5, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do this like right now. I do it because it's fun and I do enjoy it and everything. But like some days are just like tough again because I'm very in the forest when it comes to wrestling. Like I know people consume wrestling differently, right? Like some people just watch a lot and they can just watch it as a fan. Maybe they do a podcast and they talk about it and like that, like that's great. Some people just like read about it and watch it. Maybe they don't even do a podcast. Like they just talk about it on Twitter or something. Like I'm very in the forest. You're fine, Joel. Joel, if you want to say anything, I'm sorry. I don't know how long I'm actually going to be. I apologize.
Keep talking, do your thing, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good 2023. I got to go deal with the baby, but
love you, Joel.
We love you guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll do Tim and Joel. So see you then. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Joel Pearl.
Cheers,
you, buddy.
Appreciate you, Jeremy.
Love you, buddy. So I'm like very in the forest with this stuff of like I'm seeking out interviews. I'm listening to interviews. Like if I'm not listening to something, I'm probably like seeking something out. And it's legitimately what it is. And so like sometimes by like time the shows start, I'm just like, I don't even want to watch wrestling tonight. I've literally just been covering wrestling from 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The last thing I want to do is like watch this match right now. Like I just don't like that. I get like that. And I get a little burnt out on it, honestly. So Pillow to Post is just something like trying to put that together every other week. And then just stuff just happens and I just get burnt out on wrestling. And so I think sometimes my content from like a video perspective suffered on because of that as well. And that's why in 2023, like I'm trying to like actually map out of like, I just can't do like 5 shows a week to try to create content and try to like, so something is on the channel because we promised daily content daily. And this was before Joel had a kid and like his schedule changed. Because he had all those shows that he was doing like Kids and Misses, like the show with Kate. And then he had a kid, schedule changed. And so like, it just became tougher. That's why I want other contributors. That's why I like it's Jeff Hawkins, but like if Jeff Hawkins wants to do something awesome, that's why I love the Tag Talk is here. I love Coexisting is on here. I love doing FMC. That is like, because it is non-wrestling. When SP3 and Jensen are like, yeah, we're just going to do like fucking Mighty Ducks review on Friday, and they don't tell me until Friday. I'm like, cool, do it, have fun, like please do this. I love it.
I'm not in any Fightful group chats, so I can't. I just assume that's just something he would say.
I don't care. Like I want as many contributors like as we can like kind of get, because I just appreciate that people are having fun and stuff. And I like, yeah. And you know, MKASP says it like budget time, outline the month, go from there. And like, that's what I'm trying to do. The delegating part, I have trouble with when it comes to like the news side, because I won't get into that. I put a lot of pressure on myself when it comes to news and everything. But like, when it comes to like video content and stuff, I don't put as much pressure on myself. I would rather delegate that to other people. But there's still stuff just like I like having fun doing and stuff. But like I was very consumed for the longest time of like views and subscribers and all of this stuff. And like that stuff can like eat at you when it looks like no one's watching or no one's paying attention or anything. And like, I still sometimes get to that, but then I just think about it and I'm just like, all right, the main thing is like having fun. And I've gotten back to that. And the second thing is like just making sure you're happy with it. And like, if I'm happy with what I'm doing and I think it's good, then I'm not as worried about like the views and stuff. And like, if I feel it is a worthwhile contribution to the space, then like, I'm cool with it. Like one of the biggest things I did this year, and one of the things I'm most proud of, was the series with CM Punk and like the breakdowns of like his matches and everything, and like really like diving deep into like like how the match was worked, the build up and everything, and like giving it like a real sports kind of angle to it and everything. And like, I was very proud of that. That was very time consuming. Because one, the matches are long. My sweet spot is 12 to 18 minutes. CM Punk goes way over 18 minutes. But like screenshotting, writing like a script for it, doing the voiceover, like piecing all that together, like it takes a while to do all of that. And it's all for like 200 views or something. And it's just like, is this worth it? And I'm like, it is, because it was enjoyable. I think it's something different. I think it's a worthwhile contribution. And at the end of the day, like, I learned something and I had fun with it. And so it was worth it, even though it might only get like 200 views. But then that was a thing where I did burn myself out. Like, I tried to do that shit weekly. And then when you got kids running around and everything, like trying to get all that shit done weekly, it don't work too well. So I'm gonna be better about budgeting time and like not sort of like over promise just like how much content I can do in 2023. I'd rather under promise now and over deliver, but I have ideas. I'm very happy with my ideas. I need to execute my ideas. One of the things that I hate that like kind of fell to the wayside was the Twitch channel. Like we just kind of, that was supposed to be like gaming and stuff, but then like I didn't feel I had enough time to put into it. Joel didn't have as much time, and now the Twitch channel has just become like, it's just a secondary stream for people, which is fine, but like I enjoy doing the gaming stuff. I just don't always have the time to like do like a live game stream for like 3 hours. And that's why I'm not going to promise that like, hey, Twitch will be back in 2023, but I would like to do more and actually like get on stream, like especially when like the AEW game comes out and stuff. I would like to like stream that stuff and whatnot. So I promise I will stream more on Twitch in 2023 than I did in the last 4 months, which I think was like 1 stream. So if I hit 2 streams all of 2023, I've hit my promise. So yeah, I know that was a lot. Thank you to SP3 for just like sitting there and listening to all of that, because professionally it was a weird year for me. It wasn't like a bad year or anything, but it was a weird year in that like I entered the year like this time last year, my head, like I had one idea of how I thought my year was going to play out, and within a week that idea was completely shot to hell. So yeah, it was a weird year professionally. A good year. Like I had a lot of fun and a lot of stuff we did. I'm very happy overall. But yeah, it was definitely not the year I thought I was going to have this time last year. Again, thank you, SP3. And sorry to everybody for like talking for like 50 minutes right there.
That needed to be said. I saw a lot of people in the live chat kind of saying what I was thinking, is that a lot of what you said is very relatable. I mean, I didn't really go through that type of mindset this year, but I did go through that last year. A lot of people who follow me on social media will remember like last summer, I stopped doing my full-time job. I had been doing this and working a full-time job and not being able to be home with my very young kids. I had to stop doing that and then do this full-time and be at home. So I was kind of in that mind state of like, am I actually good at this? Am I just given up all the money that I could possibly make, and I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home dad basically at like in my early 30s? So I was kind of like that, and I would look at some of my stuff and be like, I'm not as knowledgeable as people want to say I am. I'm not as good talking as I am. I'm not as funny as this person or that person that I work with. So I went through a lot of those kind of like insecurities, and like the end of 2021, I was very like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I had the whole thing, what I was doing with Sportskeeda, and that was great. That was fun. And I was doing, stuff with True Hill Heat, and that was growing. But stuff outside of that, I had stopped doing Wrestling Daily. I wasn't doing a lot of other stuff outside of just True Hill Heat. And what I wanted to do is more content, because that summer in 2021, I've like put out a whole big post like, I want to do a podcast where I talk about basketball, kind of like I relate to what Sean was saying earlier about, as a content creator, everything I do, I watch, I want to do something and talk about it on screen about it. Like what a lot of people will know, and I've said it on, the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, is my goal is to have separate channels for True Hill Heat. You have your True Hill Heat or wrestling. This year, 2022, was a big year for us because we started True Hill Heat Sports. And, in the future, I want to start True Hill Heat Entertainment, because a lot of the stuff that I will randomly bring up on an FMC, like my weird fascination with the One Tree Hill series. I want to do a whole like video essay and discussions with different fans of that. There's so many different like teen dramas. I'm going down that rabbit hole of teen dramas, and I want to do that more. And I want to thank you, Jeremy, because you bringing FMC at the beginning of this year was like, that checked off kind of one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about basketball. I wanted to talk all about like a lot of the entertainment stuff that I do. And that's what I've been able to do with FMC. And like the big thing was like the basketball. I remember like I would show up on like different people's basketball podcasts. I remember I did Distraction with the whole thing. I remember the whole first conversation that I had about going on the Distraction with you and Joel was I want to talk about basketball. You guys are the only wrestling podcast I know that I could just talk about basketball. I have like 10-15 minutes at the beginning of my podcast where I talk about stuff that's not wrestling, but there's so much wrestling to get into. I have to eventually do that, but I just want a podcast where I could talk about basketball freely. And then you bring in FMC to me, it's just been great. Like I've been able to talk all my Laker nonsense. We've had so many funny moments, like Elite Big and my predictions for the season and all that stuff.
How's Anthony Davis top 5 MVP working out, SV3?
Hey, he was looking good before he got injured, y'all.
The story of Anthony Davis looking good before he got injured.
The preview we did with Nick for this season was great. Like there's so many great things that like FMC has been able to give to me, and being on Fightful Overbooked, not just with FMC but with like Degrassi dudes. Like I said earlier, shout out to Steven Jensen, but this was literally something we were just doing on Steven and my Twitch channel, and then Joel was just like, hey, you guys want to do it on Fightful Overbooked? I was like, wait, I'm already doing something very niche on Fightful already, and they want us to do Degrassi dudes too? Sure, why not? And that kind of opened the door to us, like, talking to different people, having like Queen of the Ring on that show and stuff, doing like tier rankings, which is like my new other fascination when it comes to like entertainment stuff, is tier ranking like couples and characters and stuff like that. So that's kind of like opened the door for that. And definitely in 2023 we are going to be doing more with like Degrassi dudes and stuff that's outside of the wrestling bubble with me and Jensen, and then able to have an opportunity to move one of the True Hill Heat shows to Fightful Overbooked was really cool. It felt like a little bit of a call up, like we were in ROH and we were going to NXT. I mean, ask Adam Cole. His bank account said it was a call up to go from ROH to but like, just get more eyes on it, and me and Romeo and Drunk Guy JJ, we have so much fun doing that show. So just all the opportunities that Fightful Overbooked has given me for a lot of the stuff that I said in the summer of 2021, it has helped with a lot of the insecurities and the stuff that I've been able to deal with. I think that in this year, why I haven't been able to deal with it is because I've had a lot of stuff going on as well. I definitely feel that what Jeremy said earlier too, because whether it's my kids going from 1 to 2 years old and all that pertains to it, dealing with my missus and having a relationship that way, and then having all this work where I'm doing shows for Sportskeeda Wrestling, which I've been doing for like the last 2 years, all the stuff that I do for True Hill Heat, whether it be the Flagship podcast, the AEW review. I did all the reviews for 2022 for WWE, Impact, AEW over there. And I also related to that what you said earlier with what you do with like writing, is you wanted to kind of put a spotlight on stuff that wasn't being talked about, because that's what made me a content creator. Is that it was two things that really motivated me outside of like certain individuals. Was I didn't see enough people talking about outside of WWE back like 5 years ago when I started doing this. All people wanted to talk about was WWE, and this was the rise of New Japan in that year. So I was like, why isn't more people talking about New Japan? I was like, we need more people talking about New Japan. We need more people talking about ROH. That's one reason. And two, I didn't see enough people that look like me. And I was like, yeah, I see it was very predominant with, white correspondents and analysts on a lot of these shows. And I was like, I want to see more folks like me. And if I'm going to be out there, maybe more people will, feel brave enough or confident enough or comfortable enough to do it as well. And that's like the biggest thing for me when I get a message on social media. And there are people out there who can tell you, if I get a message on social media like, oh, True Hill Heat, or seeing you on Wrestle Talk, seeing you on Quizzlemania, seeing you on Fightful made me start doing a podcast. That's the biggest thing for me. It's not even making money off of what I'm doing or, getting, more eyes on me. Is being able to inspire somebody else. That's like the biggest thing I could possibly do. And if I stopped doing this tomorrow, I'd be good, because I had one person message me and told me that, oh, I saw you, and it made me confident or comfortable enough to start doing it myself. So for someone who has dealt with a lot of insecurities, I definitely relate to everything you're saying. And then also in this year, I get to also relate to you in the fact that I started doing news writing on a semi-regular basis. And we've had conversations, between me and you, where, I always say, like, people just over there, they just basically go to your articles and get your feedback. And and that was not even to like, oh, brag, oh, I know him. I didn't even tell them that. I just to tell you that what you're doing, it matters and is being seen by people, whether you realize it or not, is that you're actually an inspiration for a lot of the news writers and the people that are doing it like that. But I 100% related to the fact that it's totally different, and especially doing all the different stuff that I was doing at one point this year. I was doing the Inside the Ropes show on Mondays with Alex and Sat. I was doing news writing 4 days a week with Wrestle Talk. I was also doing feature writing with Wrestle Talk. I was doing a Wednesday podcast on NXT with Sat. I was then also doing script writing for their news channel, their main channel. I was doing script writing for their Parts Unknown channel for List that they were doing at one point. I was also doing all the content that I do for True Hill Heat. I was doing the Sports Keto Wrestling show every single week, and just having that much wrestling and then recapping it now in this final week of the year and realizing I watched like 2,000 different matches, and then like having a conversation with my missus and being like, oh, I also like I've been doing like notes and stuff for different content I want to do in January, and I came up with like my top 10 best TV shows. She was like, wait, so you saw all these different wrestling? She was like, every time I see you, you're watching some different wrestling. Anytime you have free time without the kids, you're watching some different wrestling, but you were still able to watch all these different TV shows as well, and you're still here. If I need you to just watch the kids on your own, or I need to go out, you're still, yeah. I was like, it is what it is. This is the life we choose to live. So I think 2022 was about kind of learning for me, is about balancing and gaining some type of confidence in what I do. I want to do more content and less writing. I will say this, since you gave the Love is Blind scoop, I'll give a little scoop and I'll tell you more of the details. But I could say in 2023, I'll be doing more hours with Wrestle Talk website. Why I'm doing that is because I was offered another role with another website. So yes, I was being courted. I felt like I was a college basketball player.
You got a rose. You get the rose handed to somebody.
I was like, oh, okay, but that helped me with like accessing Wrestle Talk for more hours over there. So I'll be working more over there. So I'll primarily all my writing will be over there, but I'm going to continue doing all the content I do for True Hill Heat, for Fightful Overbooked. But honestly, I'm open to do more content because I love just talking, and you guys, the viewers, for Fightful Overbooked, all you guys that follow me from all the different YouTube channels, you guys are honestly like the lifeblood and why I continue to do this and why I enjoy doing this. And when I do stuff like this, does not feel like work. When I write, that's work.
and that is something. That's something I definitely struggle with. Of like, yeah, writing. Like sometimes I wake up and it just starts to feel like work. Okay, listen to this podcast, subscribe to this. Oh, this news breaks. Cover this. This interview's out. Cover this. Yeah, getting to come on these podcasts and stuff like that definitely does not feel like any, like the spotlight does not feel like any work. It only feels like work because I am so consumed by the writing side of it. It's like, oh, okay, well now I have to do this on top of it. Yeah, I completely relate to the writing can sometimes just feel like work because it's time consuming to do as much writing and stuff as you do, especially as much as I want to cover, because I legit just want to cover like everything. Like if possible, I'd like to cover everything. And I realize that's not always feasible. But yeah, I want to cover everything. And so the writing can start to become work very quickly. And I have to like easy to burn myself out, and I got to be better about that. And I probably won't be, but I would like to be better about that.
And I will never forget being on shift the day that Vince McMahon retired from the WWE. I wouldn't, because I usually don't work on a Friday. And then I worked on that Friday. That Friday was the Friday that I just started doing random Fridays for Wrestle Talk. And I didn't write as many articles as I'm used to writing, but I've never had to refresh and update articles because you had the Vince stuff, then you had Brock walking out, then you had this, it was just like my head was in a whirl. Like literally I just was like, oh my god, I have to watch this whole I have to watch SmackDown and then Rampage and then actually talk about it. And I was in the UK, so it was like 4 a.m. by the time I went on an actual podcast. Jesus. And I remember being so busy on the day the Wall Street Journal article that week, because I was doing content for Sportskeeda. I was doing my own content for True Hill Heat, and then I was doing articles. That whole June to July, it was like the busiest time when I was doing kind of all that different stuff, and I just felt like I was trapped in a maze of wrestling.
The Vince stuff, definitely, it was like, oh, I'm just kind of burnt out on all this. Honestly, the worst weekend was the CM Punk weekend, because there was that was like Clash at the Castle was like that same weekend. There was the NXT event, and then it all got capped off with All Out, if my memory serves me right. And of course, All Out was just CM Punk going scorched earth with everything, and like transcribing his whole press conference, essentially the fallout from all of that, like that, I got so burnt after that, just so burnt out. I feel like there was like a New Japan show on top of this, by the way.
Was there a New Japan show that weekend? I think you may be right. I know there was the NXT show that weekend as well, but yeah, that was wild because I was in Chicago for that, and I'm still petty. If AEW is watching this, start giving me media for the pay-per-view, so I could have been in the room for that. Shoot, I came all the way to Chicago, and then I gotta pay for a ticket too. I'm in the media. Like, how many channels I gotta be on? Tony Khan, damn it. But
2023 goals: get SP3 and AEW Media Pass. Get Jeremy Lambert a Bryan Danielson meme face shirt.
Yes,
that's what we need.
Meme face. And now my new goal, since Joel said he already had the idea, is that me and Jimmy host AEW Sour Graps on Fightful Select. That's a new goal. He gave me a new goal to strive for. But that was, I can tell you, I was in the parking lot of the Now Arena with my dear friend Drunk Guy JJ, my other friend Stat King, Mrs. Stat King, Cassidy Haynes, and Impact World Champion smoking a blunt. And my friend Drunk Guy JJ literally had the press conference on his phone, and I did not know it was the press conference. All I heard is some dude just I was working for children, and I'm like, yo, is that like a new Jay-Z like mixtape? Like literally, Punk sounded like a rapper. He sounded like a rapper, like just going off on like a podcast or something. And he's like, no, that's CM Punk. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, can you rewind that back? Like, he literally sounded like a rapper on a podcast. If you did not know what you were listening to, and you were not watching it, and you just listened to it, Punk sounded like a rapper.
Yeah, 100%. I remember the feed just started mid ramble of his like fucking Scott Colton, and just that was like the first words you heard. Yeah, that's like the first words that you heard is that. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for the press conference to start, and it finally does, and it's just like fucking Scott Colton, and I'm just like, oh my god, and I'm just like going immediately, just type in, and the wife is trying to sleep, and I'm just like, oh, I just keep repeating, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and she's like, what is going on? I'm like, Punk is just going off on everybody, and she was awake after that. She's like, well, I gotta listen to this, I gotta see this, like the banter online from it. That was legitimately just one of the craziest nights. I don't think I slept that night because it was just an absolutely insane night. All right, SB3. I was trying to get this at like a 2-hour show, and now we're about to hit the 3-hour mark, so I fucked that up.
It's like when we say FMC is going to be an hour.
Oh, I've given up. I try to keep that like an hour and a half at this point with FMC, because an hour, yeah, it doesn't go too long. I love every second of it, but like we will keep going. It'll be our entire day if we had the choice with FMC. I legitimately was trying to get this at like 2 hours. I did not think I was going to talk about all that stuff as much as I did. So I do want to get out of here and help the wife with everything. So I recap stuff sort of professionally with everything. I do want to say personally, this was like the best year of my life. Like personally, it was just an absolutely fantastic year. I mean, the guy got married. See everyone see the ring there. Not only got married to the absolute love of my life, had a family, and just love being a stepdad, everything that goes with that. And they're trying times, SB3, as a father, they're trying times with everything, but like, it's such a great feeling when you see just the influence you're having on the kid, or they talk to you about stuff, or just having fun with them. Like they love, like they'll come up to me and just like power bomb me. I was like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? And like, I'll wrestle around. Like, it's so much fun just being a stepdad and being involved in their life. And just like, again, whether it's the serious moments or the playful moments, it's such a great joy being a stepfather. And my wife is the absolute best. I talk about the professional stuff. Like the fact that she like understands everything that goes into this, and yeah, your wife can relate to it. I always think it's your wife, but not technically.
No, not technically.
Yes. Okay.
Wife,
well, the missus. Your missus can understand of like the stuff we got to do, like the odd times that we might have to cover stuff. Like there are times like, they'll release people like in the middle of the day, and it's like, oh, I was trying to go to the grocery store, but never mind. Like now I gotta write 500 release articles. Like the stuff, like, and wrestling never stops. There's no off season or anything like that. Like it legitimately just never stops. There's no break. There was no break during a fucking pandemic. They don't stop this thing at all. Like, so she is so understanding of like, yeah, I get it. Like you gotta do this, and I understand. I got it. I'll hold everything down in the home for it. So she just like, I'm apologizing, messaging her right now. I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm like an hour over what I promised I was gonna do. She's like, no, it's fine. I got everything. Like you're having fun. You're doing what you love. Like just keep going. She knows I'm talking to you, and I always enjoy talking to you. But she's like, just go. And like she's just so understanding and so supportive of that. And for those that don't know, I was previously married and didn't always have that understanding and support. So like now that I do, like I just appreciate that even more, to have someone in my life that just supports what we do, because what we do is very stupid. We talk about professional wrestling for a living. And so the fact that, she's just so appreciative and supportive of that. And I love her to absolute death. And so I decided to marry her. And for some reason, I smartly decided to marry her. For some reason, she decided to marry me.
Unwisely
well.
decided.
Yeah, very unwise. Very stupid. I'm not gonna get into the entire wedding and recapping that day. We literally did an entire episode of FMC on
Check
that.
it out.
Yes, it was. I think it was like legitimately our most viewed episode. People love. I've
Weddings
always
pop
said this.
ratings.
Yeah, weddings pop ratings. I always said you love. But I will reiterate it here of like having so many friends fly in or drive or however they made it from like different parts of the United States to like come and support our love and support me, like just meant so much to me because I moved here in Ohio I moved to Ohio from North Carolina a couple years ago, and I left my friends behind there. I moved here out of love. I didn't have any friends here. I legitimately moved here because I found my person and I'm like, I'm going to marry this person. And I didn't have any friends here. And over the past year, I'm not the most outgoing person in the world. So I haven't like made a ton of friends here. I was very worried that like we were going to get married and it's just going to be like all of her friends and family. And I'm just going to be here and just be like, my parents showed up. Yeah. Like, 'cause I don't really have any like relatives either. Like my parents are still alive. All my grandparents have passed. So I was like, my parents showed up for me. Like, great. And like the fact that, you know, you came from New York, Joel came from Canada, Sean came from Kentucky, Cher Delaware came from Illinois, Denise Salcedo came from LA. Carlos lives in Ohio. He still had to drive, but he was able to come. Cass came from North Carolina. Jensen came from Georgia. Andrew came from Maryland. I apologize if I my friend Todd came from, again, kind of Ohio, Kentucky border. Same with my friend Steve Cook, Ohio, Kentucky border. Like the fact that like all of you guys just like showed up and were there for us, like it meant just so much to me because I legitimately, when we sent these invitations out, and I was like, I don't think anybody's going to show. Like I thought Sean might show because it wasn't like a super long drive for him. Everybody else, I'm like, nobody else is going to come to this thing. Like it's just going to be my parents and maybe Sean. And then like when you walked in with Cass and Jensen, I was just so happy to see you guys. And just when I saw everybody, I posted it on Twitter, but like the photo I took with Sean and Andrew before the wedding, like meant so much to me. One, that they were there, as I knocked my water bottle, like one, that they were there, and like just how much they've helped me personally and professionally. Like that was a photo that I said this on FMC. I wish I took more photos. I wish I had a photo with you and Cher, and we had like the FMC photo and everything. But that was one photo that I was really happy that I got to take, was with Sean and Andrew. But got married this year. Pretty big milestone to get married. So huge shout out to my wife, and you know, just everything she puts up with when
God
it
bless
comes
you.
to me. I know you've met her, just the sweetest
nicest
person in the world.
Always been nice. Always
She
just
has.
would hit me up if something on an FMC caught her attention.
Bury me, I'm sure.
Yes,
Just,
always.
yeah.
I love it. I love it every single time. I should definitely send my best to my missus, because she has to deal with a lot. She does ream me out from time to time if I do go a little longer than when I say I'm gonna go longer. That's why nowadays I don't even give her a time. I just be like, hey, I'm just gonna go on that podcast, and she'd be like, all right, see you in 5 hours. And I'll just be like, all right, I'm not gonna tell you otherwise, because if it's less than 5 hours, I'm doing good.
Right.
So, but nah, thank her. I want to thank her so much, because she deals with our kids, which is a lot at 2 years old. But yeah, it's just it's very cool for what we do. Sometimes my kids will like put it on the TV and having that picture of them watching it. I remember one of your stepkids, what I think it was one of the times on FMC where I was like, I dropped the curse word. I was like, no kids watch this.
Oh yeah, I knew the kid was watching, and I still said shit, and I'm like, oh fuck. Like she sent me the photo of the kid watching, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'll mind my manners here. And then like I immediately just said shit. What about you?
Hey, when you sent me the picture, I was like, I wish I would have known that before I put my foot in my mouth. But yeah, I love moments like that. But your family that you have created over there, beautiful, and I'm a blessed next 12 months for you, everyone that's been on screen, everyone from Fightful, the whole team at Fightful is just so nice, so positive, just spreading just genuineness, and you just have these great people that you want to root behind, and that's why Fightful has been so successful, is because so many people can tell how great you guys are in your individual roles and how you come together as a team. It's just great to be on the developmental team. Roger Shaw. Nishi Health Hustle. I came up with that when Jeremy was saying this.
You've changed your name like 13 times during this show. It pops me like it's been great, but I've noticed that you've just changed your name so much.
Overbooked, niche, and Nishi Hustle. That just popped in my head.
Top of the top. Yeah. Top of the top, baby.
Oh, that's a keeper.
Two more things, and then I promise we will get out of here. I should have like closed with the wedding stuff and the marriage, because that's legitimately the most important thing. I'm not gonna like say otherwise. It is. Prior to that, the second best day of my life happened this year. You know what it is, SP3. The 2022 Stanley Cup champion, Colorado Avalanche.
I knew when you reached.
It's right here. It's right on the desk table over here. I keep the hat right there just so I could break it out right here. That happened during Forbidden Door. I said, fuck watching this AEW New Japan pay-per-view, which was legitimately the best pay-per-view of the year. And I watched Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final. You know, typically that's a busy work night for me, is an AEW pay-per-view. And Sean and everybody was like, watch the game. Like, Sean gets it. Sean knows the sports like craving here. And this, like, you don't know how many times your team is going to be in the finals, like playing for a championship and stuff. We hadn't been in the finals since 2001. So I was like, just watch the game. We'll cover it. It'll be fine. I was like, all right, cool. That entire playoff run is again where I will shout out my wife again, of like putting up with me and my sports fandom is the absolute worst thing in the world. I would not wish that on anybody. And she handled it like an absolute pro. No, Joel Pearl, fuck off. So like she handled it like an absolute pro. And yeah, like watching your team win a title is just, it's really fun. It's really fun, especially when you're invested in the sports like I am. I know some people, not everyone can relate. I've like had this argument with Joel of like, I don't get it. Like, I just watch sports, cool if my team wins, whatever. Like, when you're deep and like invested in, like I am, like watching your team like win that title, it lives forever. And like, I still watch the highlights to this day and everything. It's such a great feeling to watch that. There's this great video of this guy who is like, he's like disappointed by it. It's probably like the Broncos or something. And he's like sad and he's yelling, he's angry. And then, or maybe it was like, I don't even remember, but the girlfriend is like, you don't act like this when you're with me. Like, you know, you're not this heartbroken over me. He's like, they've been with me for fucking 20 years. You've only been with me for like 2 months. Like, no, I don't fucking care about you like that. It's
totally
hilarious.
Different. It's totally there's levels to this. Yeah, I was very happy for you, Jeremy, because you don't know when your team is going to be in the finals, let alone when your team is going to win a championship. So that's why it would be terribly horrible of a person, a horrible human being that has an awful black soul to try to steal the joy of that championship away from you by naming it after a cartoon character and saying that it was a Doug Funny ring. Wouldn't that be horrible, right?
Doug Funny rings actually now. It's a Goofy ring. You agreed on the Goofy ring.
Because Goofy is black. We saw it, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I've seen multiple YouTube video essays that explain why Goofy movie is about a black family. I was blown away that this was a thing even before the Atlanta episode this year. So I've been surprised.
That was so funny when you're like, oh, it's not a fucking Mickey Mouse. You call it a goofy ring. He's black. Fine, it's a goofy ring.
Yeah,
So
when y'all
good.
made that a short, that had me dying.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it
Goofy's
was
black.
hilarious. Yeah. Dude, that was hilarious. Oh man. You know what? Fair. Very fair that I try to take that away from you. I will continue to do so. I will remember.
I know you will, but I just I had an opportunity. Once you started describing it, I was like, oh, yeah, wouldn't that be awful?
That was good. That was good. And then finally, in closing here, SB3, actually go ahead, say anything else you want to say, because I want to close by like thanking our audience and everything, and I'll leave that as the final word.
Well, just thank you, everyone. If you subscribed over here, you watch FMC. If you subscribe to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, Believe in Pro Wrestling, anywhere I'm at, or you've seen me, you've watched the video, you've liked the video, done anything, thank you so much, because you're honestly what keeps me doing this and actually helps me make a living doing this. So I appreciate all of y'all. I do it for the love of it, but definitely I appreciate any type of support and love from any platform that I'm on. And I want to thank Jeremy, Joe, Sean, the entire Fightful Overbooked Fightful team for bringing me on board in the little way that I am, being niche.
Thank you, SV3, for everything. And I once again say, like, when I was trying to figure things out, like, you were one of the first people I messaged of like, I want to do this. Are you down? And you were, and that's just become a highlight of my week doing that show. And I appreciate that you do that with me. All the other stuff, the pillar to post, when I've asked you to come on that every single week and I bear you, I appreciate that you are always doing that. Like, anything that typically anytime like I need something, I can ask you and you're always there for me. And I very much appreciate that. And, you know, I try to extend the same. If you ever need anything, I try to be there for you. Cause I appreciate how hard you work and just your friendship in general. Finally, in closing, thank you to everyone who has supported Overbooked this year. If you left a thumbs up on a video, if you left the comment, if you just watched, however you supported, I really appreciate it. Overbooked or the spotlight, really anything that I've personally done, I appreciate it. I get a lot of kind messages about things, and that really does mean a lot to me, because I try to work hard. I try to do what I can to make the wrestling space better, or just try to highlight people who maybe aren't highlighted. And I appreciate kind messages when that is recognized. Cause there's a great Eminem line of, don't want the fame, just the fucking recognition. And like, that's kind of true. I don't want to be famous off this. I don't want people to follow me on Twitter. I don't need people in my mentions like Sean Ross Sapp. Like, I don't fuck all that. That seems way too terrible. But I do like to be recognized for the hard work that I try to put in, and I like to recognize others for the hard work that they put in. So I appreciate anyone who has recognized that. I appreciate that. Anybody who has watched anything, anybody who's supported however they can, I appreciate all the contributors at Overbooked. I did not know what this channel was going to be a week into the year. I feel like it's changed a bunch. I wish we could do different things at different times, but overall, like, above everything else, like, the creators who do contribute to this keep this channel running. I try to do what I can to provide content that I can, but without SP3 doing any show that he wants to do on this channel, and doing FMC Weekly, without coexisting with Rob and Maggie, which started off as a Fightful Select show. And then once we had to change things, Sean was like, hey, what about putting this on Overbooked? And like, they were open to it. I was open to it. That even changed time slots a couple of times until it settled in live on Fridays. And it's been a huge hit for us. Tim and Joel, bringing their show over to the channel. Tag Talk, again, I can't say enough good things about that. I'm very proud of Haley and Kylie and everything they're going to continue to do. New Japan Bread Club, which I was very excited to have a New Japan show on the channel, and I think those two are just absolutely fantastic, just covering New Japan in the way that they do. And then if it's been like just like one-off shows and guests who have been on the show, everybody who's been on Pillar to Post, Connor Casey, Alex McCarthy, everybody from Grapsody, Reg, Will Washington, Phil, all of them have been on it. Kate, Joel, I'm going to forget just people who have been on Pillar to Post. Joseph, we reunited and he was part of a Pillar to Post episode. SP3, you've been on every single Pillar to Post. Who else? Cher's been on it. Like there's been so many people who just have given me their time to do that show, and I'm very much appreciated. People who have been on the Gauntlet, like Adrian, Andrew Thompson, again, Connor Casey was on that show as well. Garrett Kidney talking AJ Styles matches, like that was a lot of fun. So just doing those shows, and then just like random streams that I've decided to do. I remember one week after Sasha walked out, I was like, I just want to talk about this a little bit. And I messaged Phil and I'm like, hey Phil, like, do you want to talk about this with me? He's like, yeah, sure. So we just did a stream. Phil's popped on FMC before. Caden appearing on FMC, like there's everybody who has appeared on stream on Overbooked in some capacity. I appreciate it, and I apologize if I left anybody off, because I know I definitely have, because we've done a lot of streams this year and we've had a lot of people just randomly popping on and off. So I can't remember everybody who is sort of been on and off there on the shows, but like I appreciate that, anybody who has appeared on stream at some point or done something for the channel, early in the year, with Drew doing stuff, and Jeff Hawkins, I appreciate that. So again, most importantly, thank you to everybody who has supported, because we could not do this without some type of support. We could not do this without some type of love, and just people watching, people leaving thumbs up, people subscribing. Everybody that sent a super chat today, I very much appreciate that. Again, all of that is going to the contributors of Overbooked, because they do work hard. And one thing I wanted to do when we did Overbooked is, like, I didn't want people to work for free. And I felt very bad that people were working for free on this channel. And that's why I felt bad, like, just asking for content, and like people needed to miss content. I was like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like, you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart, and like you're dedicating your time to this. And like, I appreciate that. I apologize that like I can't get you more out of this, because like I've been there where you're working for exposure, right? We've all worked for like exposure, and like that shit don't pay bills. All right. That don't even get you a Happy Meal. Okay. So like working for exposure ain't that fun. I get that like a lot of people have to go through that, but I didn't want to do that. And unfortunately I did for a few months. And now we are in a well enough position to where we don't have to do that, and contributors do get paid. And I'm very proud of that. And I wish it was more. Every time I send the money, I'm like, I really wish I could give more. And I'm hoping in 2023, we continue to grow, we continue to expand, and I can give all these contributors more off of this, because yes, I don't get anything off of Overbooked. Everything that is made on this channel, I give to the contributors. I don't get anything off of this channel. And so I want to continue to do that. I want to continue to give the contributors money, because without them, this channel would just be me doing like 2 shows a week and not doing all that much, because I'd be way too burnt out from wrestling news and covering that all day to actually do like a stream. So the fact that, again, they dedicate their time to helping and putting up a video, sending a podcast, whatever it might be, like without them, this channel would not run. So I want to continue to give back to them as much as I can. And I appreciate everybody who supports, so I'm able to do that. I appreciate the supporters and the contributors and the supporters. But all right, I'm going to stop rambling. We've gone for 3 hours and 18 minutes, SB3. And I feel like this last hour has just been me just going, and you've done the hook. I appreciate you doing the hook. The last hour, I've just spit long verses this last hour. That's all I've done, is spitting long ass verses.
Hey, this is what we're here for. You're Ludacris. I'm Nate Dogg. We out here making the hits. I mean, I did say I was gonna sing sitcoms. I'll sing us out. It's a rare condition in this day and age, reading the good news on a newspaper page. And love and condition of the grand design. Some people say it's even harder to find. When there must be some magic groove inside these gentle walls. Cause all I see is a mountain of dreams. Good love bursting out of every stream. Now days go by. It's the real love of the family. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year, everybody. Have a